O Show. This is the Big 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 O Show.
South Florida's premier law enforcement agency is now hiring individuals like you. The Fort Lauderdale Police Department is now accepting applications for non-certified and certified police officer positions. Minimum requirements and qualifications can be found at flpdjobs.com. That's flpdjobs.com. Are you ready? The city of Fort Lauderdale is an equal opportunity employer. When protecting your family is your priority, there's nothing more important than a roof above the people you love. Call Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises.com, 954-735-9826 or 954-394-1411 and ask to speak to Tommy, the owner. They specialize in all kinds of roofs, led by their highly crafted, skilled, and professional roof mechanics. All of their previous customers have an opportunity to enter their bi-weekly drawings to receive free an exterior impact metal door. Please call for more details. That's Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises.com, 954-735-9826 or 954-394-1411. Trust Tommy to fortify and protect what's most important to you, your family.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house! Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
This is the Big O Show.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
It's the Big O Show. Judge, you tuned in to the hottest sports radio.
When you need your warehouse looking good while staying efficient, there's only one place to find the finest racks in the business. Pallet Rack City in Hialeah. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547. Pallet Rack City is the company you need when you want your warehouse sporting the finest racks in the business. After all, who doesn't love a great rack? Pallet Rack City. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547.
Orlando, a.k.a. the Big O. He covers all the South Florida teams.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Offense to the heat, well, you know what I mean. Monday to Friday, lollipop blow in the...
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Show O's on the radio, the top's where we gonna go, Miami, that's the way we roll.
Folks, you can support the hardest working sports talk show in South Florida through Cash App or Venmo. Just search Cash Big O Show. Support us through Cash App or Venmo. Cash Big O Show. We thank you for your incredible support.
On the morning show, Big O, no one has a similar show. Talk sports, talk plays, talk...
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your Inter Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or intermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inter Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Live and direct, because nobody do it better than Big O in the set. From sunrise, listen live.
When you're ready to purchase a new home or refinance the one you have, American Dream Lending will make sure your loan experience is easy with fast approvals and quick closings. With many loan programs and competitive rates, now is the time to turn your dreams into reality. Ask about special financing for veterans. They never charge an application fee, and you will work directly with one of their experienced loan professionals. Stop dreaming and contact American Dream Lending today. 786-802-1727 or online at adreamlending.com. The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
The Big O Radio Show is brought to you by EJDconstruction.com, where you can trust their team of construction experts. American Dream Lending. Go to adreamlending.com. Stop dreaming and start living your best life. Perdermo Cigars. Experience the Perdermo way. Go to PerdermoCigars.com.
The Big O Radio Show originates from the OK Coin Studios. Invest a little time and save big. Just set the recurring buy and pay, zero transaction fee after your first purchase. The Big O Radio Show is mastered by executive producer Sean Stanley from the OK Coin Studios. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Hey, welcome aboard. It's a Friday. It's a Friday. You made it to the end of the week, although we're going to work one more day for you. That's right. We're going to be out there tomorrow at Caneswear. Sean and I will be at 2511 South University Drive in Davie. Short show tomorrow, 11 to 1. Although you never know with us. I mean, we could start at 10:30. We could end at 4:30. You never know. I mean, Sean just cringed right now at the ending of 4:30. But anyway, so we're going to be tomorrow over at Caneswear in Davie. Tyler Van Dyke's going to be there, TVD, the quarterback of your Miami Hurricanes. And we're going to be there. So we're going to try to get Tyler on tomorrow, see if we can sneak him onto the show for a couple of minutes before he does his signings. See if we can, steal him for a couple minutes, get him on the show for you. We'll have Ira Winderman tomorrow at, I think he's 11:30 and Joe Shad's 12:30. Or Joe Shad's 11:30 and Ira's 12:30. I'm not exactly sure, but I think it's Ira 11:30 and I think it's Joe Shad 12:30. Great performance by the Heat last night. That was a lot of fun. And Panthers. Nothing to worry about. We'll get into that. Anyway, so we will be at Caneswear tomorrow. So we will have a 6th show this week over at Caneswear for you all. So we'll have a little fun. And if you got a shot, come on over, man. Come meet us. Come say hi. You can see the craziness. Buy a ticket. You can meet and get something signed by Tyler Van Dyke. I mean, come on, man. That's actually a really cool thing to get out to Caneswear tomorrow and check out. If Tyler goes to the NFL and becomes a stud, whatever it is that you got tomorrow could be worth a little bit more down the line. You know what I'm saying? Although I don't know about you guys, but like when I have memorabilia that's personal to me, I have zero intentions on selling it. Like none. Like I will not sell it. I have a Dolphin helmet signed by Marino. Not interested ever in selling it. Ever. Okay? Maybe when I die, my daughter, she wants to sell it, go ahead. Whatever, my wife, if she's around and I'm gone, she wants to sell it, go ahead. But while I'm alive, that Marino helmet stays with me forever. Okay? Not selling it. Ever. I won it at an auction, and Marino gave me the helmet. So, there's a little special something to it. It was an embarrassing moment, by the way. It was kind of an embarrassing moment. So I'm a media member, right? And I'm going to cover a Marino event, a charity event. And, as a beat reporter, you cover all kinds of things. You cover the drafts, you cover press conferences, you go into the locker rooms after games, and you cover charity events also because you have opportunities there to talk to the person that's holding the charity event, like Marino, and you never know, you might get a soundbite or two. You know what I'm saying? Plus, it was always a moment for us to talk to Marino without Harvey Green around. Okay, guys, you got 5 minutes. So when we could talk to Marino without Harvey Green, it was a real positive for us because Harvey Green was the best. I don't care what anybody tells you about Richmond Webb, okay? You can talk about Larry Little, and you can talk about Kuchenberg, and you can talk about every great lineman that Miami has ever had. No left tackle is better than Harvey Green, ever, okay? That's how good Harvey Green was. Harvey should have lined up on the line, and he would have helped out Marino, by the way. But anyway, in all seriousness, so I'm there covering the event, and it's an event for charity. So, but, I got to say also, I've said it many, many times. That's my favorite, Dolphin player of all time is Dan Marino. It's like I went to I paid my way to cover Dan Marino's retirement for QAM. Okay? I paid my way, me, to cover an event for the station that they should be covering. Okay? Just want you to know. I mean, because these are things that some things are talked about. I don't know if everything's ever talked about in the past or whatever. That's because it's like, the lack of dedication to really, that's why we're building this, because it's going to be maniacally dedicated to sports, because that's what I am. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so you guys are going to cover the Marino. You know that I paid my way to go cover 62-7 in Jacksonville? They weren't going to send anybody. They wanted me to hire a stringer. I'm like, seriously, you're going to pay $40 for a stringer, and you won't pay a couple $100 for me to go up there and cover to make sure everything is covered the right way, because the stringer is just going to get some sound and send you a couple cuts, and they don't care. They just want a couple cuts and they get their money, and that's it. But that's what this business is. It's the garbage that goes on behind the scenes. You have no idea. Most of us that do this business is because we love it, because we have a passion for it. And they take advantage of that passion because they know we'll do it for less, because we have the automatic love. It comes from our hearts. See what I'm saying? You think anybody in town would ever create a podcast like this? A show like this, daily live, with a shitload of insiders, and lock them in and have that? Nobody has that drive. Nobody gives a shit. They find out a bottom line, and that's it. You know what I mean? That's just the way it is. So, long story. I'm there covering the event, Marino's talk and all that. So they have several items up for auction, right? So the girl comes around for raffle tickets. And I'll tell you, most of the media members on the table did not spend $1. But I'm sitting there going, I gotta do something, right? It's for charity. I'm just not gonna, So I give them $5. I think I got 5. I think they were for $1 each. So, I'm like, whatever, here's $5, whatever. I'll take the tickets. I didn't expect to win anything. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just sitting there. I'm sitting there in the media table, and I'm just waiting for the event to be over, so then we can then go to the scrum and go talk to Marino. So lo and behold, they start calling out numbers. And one of the numbers they called out, they have this Dan Marino signed helmet, the real dolphin, by the way, not the stinking whale. And, signed helmet, to give away. And sure enough, dude, they read my number. So what was I supposed to do? I'm sitting there going, okay, I'm a media member. Am I not supposed to take part? But then I start thinking about it. I go, most of these cheap bastards at the table didn't even bother to buy a ticket, and it's for charity. So I bought the ticket. I bought 5 tickets. So you know what? I'm taking the prize, baby. And I took the prize. And I'm never letting it go. Okay? So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Was I wrong for keeping the helmet? No, right? I mean, I deserve the helmet, actually. I looked at it as good karma. So I looked at it. I looked around. I saw most of the cheap bastards at my table didn't buy any raffle tickets because they're curmudgeons. Oh, we're here to work. I'm like one of the weirdos that I do this job with a smile every day. Like I enjoy, and covering press conferences and covering the team and going in the locker rooms and breaking stories and having it out with coaches and whatever it was. I enjoy all aspects pretty much of the business, except the assholes that you got to deal with above you who know nothing about it. See, the worst part about the business, period, and I'm sure writers run into this, I'm sure people on TV run into this, and I know that we run into it on radio. most of the people that are our bosses have never done our jobs, yet they try to tell you how to do your job. Think about that one. I want you to think about that. I'm sure it happens in some of your jobs. I don't know. I mean, normally you work your way up and you do all the things everybody else does, and you get, you become the store manager because you were the, you know, stock person, retail, whatever, all that, and you worked your way up. So you kind of did all the jobs and you know everything. But in our business, the wacky part is there are people that take jobs and they've never done your job. And so it's like, well, wait a minute, how are you leading reporters and you know how to edit, but you don't know how to report? So you've never done it in your life. You've never broken a story. You sit in an office editing texts, you break wind. You don't break stories. You don't know how to cultivate relationships. You don't know how to maintain them. You don't know how to unearth any information. You don't know how to read between the lines when they're trying to tell you something. All of these kind of things that you've never done before. You know what I'm saying? So that usually happens. And I'm sure it's got to happen to some of you out there that you end up with bosses that, you know, whatever. Maybe it's someone's kid or something like that. You know what I mean? But it's rough, man. It's rough. I tell you, in radio, that happens a ton. A ton. Okay. I mean, right now, that the local station's got a guy running that's never done anything, accomplished anything behind a mic ever in his life. So how are you going to run a station? You've never ever ran a successful show. You've never had an audience. You've never ever had a continual type of relationship in any kind of city. So how could you do my job? How could you be my boss? That kind of stuff. So it's those are the screwed up things. So there you go. Anyway, good morning, you all. Hope you're doing well on a beautiful Friday, March 5th. If you want to get in on the Welt and Rayom text lines, it is 855-912-1056. That's 855-912-1056. If you want to get in on the Welt and Rayom text line, you can also reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. And on Twitter is where you will find out a lot of the breaking news, like we broke the Ian Rappaport story. Ian Rappaport will be joining us weekly on Wednesdays. This Wednesday will be his first Wednesday, 10:10 a.m. You can catch Ian Rappaport every week here on the program. And we're not done. We're going to add more to this whole thing. You're going to have all the insight you need. You're going to be hearing from, insiders locally, which we already completely dominate. And you'll start hearing from insiders nationally also now on the program. So we're working on all of that. Just can't get it done overnight. But you know what? From June 14th to now, it's a lot of progress, man. And we thank a lot of people like Sloman's, like EJD Construction, like Sports Grill, like Perdomo Cigars, American Dream Lending, OK Coin, which, by the way, if you missed our conversation with Alex Chisik yesterday, the head of listings with OK Coin, and he's also a Ukrainian. It was just a flat out amazing conversation, a great way to get educated about crypto, about Bitcoin, and obviously what he's going through also as a Ukrainian American. And so just a fabulous conversation yesterday with Alex Chisik. So if you get a chance, I suggest you listen to that conversation. And for those of you that also want to get educated in crypto, there you go. OK Coin, by the way, is going to have their show today. So you may want to catch it. I forgot what time it is, but either way, it's on demand and you can catch it. But you make sure you sign up for their podcast also, because they do a really good job with that. It's a great way to get educated, right? By the way, I also, Cash App and Venmo, and on Cash App, with Cash Big O Show. Just want to thank Mr. Samuel Robina. Thank you, Samuel, giving us some love on the Cash App. I saw it this morning. So I appreciate you, sir, giving us a little love on the Cash App as always. I see the super chats already fired off here as Corn Iowa Production says, congratulations, Big O, on the empire you're building. I don't know about an empire, but you know what I want? I just want to build something that South Florida fans around the world can be proud of. They can tune in all the time and find out from Manny and other Canes insiders that we're about to have, what's going on from all of our Heat insiders, Ira and Anthony Chang that will be joining us in a little over a week, and Clay Ferraro, and something else we're working on. And then on the football side, all of our Dolphin insiders. And now that we've added Ian Rappaport, we got our hockey guys, on board. I just want to create the kind of show that the South Florida fans sitting in Malaysia, in Canada, in Mexico, in Portugal, or in Hialeah, or in Jacksonville, or in New York, or in Philadelphia, wherever you're at listening, you're sitting anywhere and you can get all the information that you want about your teams with no politics involved, because we're not tied to any of the teams and we don't have to cater to it and we don't have to worry about it. We don't have any PDs above us pressuring us because we've got a relationship with this team or that team or any of that, because I know I've lived it. None of that. So you get all of the insiders being able to speak their piece. The host will speak his piece, and you as a fan, you get to contribute. We actually read your texts. You actually get to participate, and we're going to have shows out on the road that, whether it's locally or around the nation, that we're going to interact with all of you out there, which is something that also no one does anymore. So that's all we're trying to accomplish. And that's why we ask you to smash that like button, because it's incredibly important. Visit our sponsors, man. Unique Construction, EJD Construction. You're looking into crypto, OK Coin. You want a cigar, Perdomo Cigars. Visit the retail store. You know what I'm saying? Sports Grill. Are you by the airport? Go to Champions. Edge Energy Drink. All these things are important. Hialeah Park, Sloman's. So important to visit our sponsors and mention us. All of these things. You want this to continue to grow? You want us to cover the Combine and the Senior Bowl and the East-West Shrine Game and the NBA Summer League and all these things that's never been done by a station? We're going to do it. You want us to be at the UFC fights like Saturday? That's what I'm aiming for, to be in Vegas for the big UFC fights, for the big boxing matches. I mean, they're not all there, but you know what I'm saying. I'm just using the fight this weekend as an example. All of these kind of things, that's what we're striving to do. Okay? So that's what we're attempting. You're not going to get it anywhere else. So that's why we ask you, we beg you, we plead with you to, smash the like button, visit our sponsors. All of these things will help us grow. It's the only way we're going to be able to do it. Only way. But it's all of us. It's the listeners, it's the sponsors, and then it's all of everybody that's working inside this show. Without those three elements, without the synergy of those three elements, we're not gonna have the success that we could possibly have, or the kind of shows that you guys deserve. All right. So there you go. Big O, you can't be behind the mic all day as you expand. Who is going to be your afternoon personality? Right now, there are no plans to have any other personalities on the show outside of Sean Stanley doing wrestling. Outside of that, I don't have any plans at this point in time. So, don't know yet. You know what I mean? So it's hard. It's not that easy. I can get credentials to any UFC event, brother. Awesome, JP. Appreciate you, man. That's good. I credentials are not a problem for me either. It's a matter of sponsorships, so you can get the hotels, the plane trip, the producer, the engineer, all of those things. That's it, it takes money to put everything together. To edit, to create these billboards, to create the videos, to all of that stuff. None of this is done, by osmosis. It's not done by snapping your fingers. You know what I mean? So that's the tough part. The easy part is ordering a credential. I can do that. I can order a credential to anything in the world. I mean, I'm a credentialed media member, so that's not the issue for me. So that's the easiest part for me. It's everything else. It's all the business side of it and all that. That's what you got to get done. GP Trap says, been listening to you for years. The rest of the world is catching up now. Congrats. Thank you, GP Trap. I appreciate you as always. You and your rock solid support. Where's your Batman? Oh, there's your Rock Man. Because it's half bat, half rock. So it's the Rock Man. Appreciate you as always. Thank you, GP Trap. Thoughts on Shane Warner passing Big O, cricket legend, only 52. I'm sorry. Rest in peace. I can't give you any insight, my brother. I don't follow cricket. I don't know. I can't speak to his greatness. If I don't know something, the one thing I'm more than happy to tell you, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know everything, man. I don't follow every sport on the planet. Cricket is one of them I don't follow, so I have no idea. I saw the post go through on Twitter, but I don't know him. All I would say is rest in peace, Shane Warner and his family, and I feel for his fans, but I can't elaborate, my brother. I don't know anything about cricket at all. Never followed it, never watched it, so it'd be foolish for me to even comment on it. It'd be insulting for me to comment on it because anybody that knows cricket would know right away, this idiot doesn't know anything. He doesn't know who Shane Warner is, and I don't know who Shane Warner is. So, the only thing I say, it's sad, 52 is way too young. I lost my dad at 51. So that's the only thing I will say is that 52 is, not the time. Give us at least another 30 years. Let us hit the 80s. Okay, once you start, I think once you're playing in the 70s, you're pretty good. But if you hit the 80s and you go, yeah, it's good. 52 is way too early, bro. Way too freaking early to go. Ed says, Big O, you should have a map that shows shows out all your U.S. listeners around the world. Bro, it's hard. They give us on SoundCloud because it's the only stats that we have. But on SoundCloud, they give us the stats of the countries that listen to us. And but they only give us the top 50, I believe. That's how it goes. I think that's how it goes. Top 50 is what they give us. Let me see here. Yes, here we go. Top 50. And let me give you the top 50. United States, of course. Canada, Mexico, United Kingdom, Panama, Japan, the Netherlands, Turkey, Ireland, Bulgaria, Malaysia, Bahamas, Puerto Rico. It's all in the order, by the way. Curacao, Jamaica, United Arab Emirates, Brazil, Nicaragua, Turks and Caicos, Belgium, Spain, Cayman Islands, Germany, Pakistan, Russia Federation, Dominican Republic, Aruba, Poland, Australia, Singapore, Grenada, Israel, France, Ecuador, Qatar, Colombia, Sweden, Argentina, Czech Republic, Egypt, India, South America, Peru, Ghana, Thailand, Austria, Islamic Republic of Iran, Ukraine, Portugal, and Saudi Arabia. Those are your top right there. We have more, but they don't give you all of them. But those are the top right there, that list. I think that's 50 that I just read. So it is amazing. You start to see all the countries that are downloading the show all over the place, audio, video. It's impressive. It really is impressive to see the reach that it has. And I would imagine that most of that is Americans that are living, and maybe some of them are military and all that in different parts of the world, because obviously people sometimes have to move. And then some people just I don't know, they just become fans of the Heat and they live somewhere else, or the Dolphins, or, hell, UK has got, my God, our UK Dolphin Nation is absolutely amazing. It is enormous, dude. So, yeah, we got them all over the place. Big O, did you see McDaniel complete the Rich Eisen challenge on Wednesday at the Combine? Hilarious. Yeah, with the high five. Is that what you're talking about? He's just McDaniel is just a cool guy. And I think he's the kind of guy that fits today's culture. We talked about this before. Today's culture doesn't really, fit the hard-nosed military style coach. You've got to be a little bit more cerebral. You've got to be a little bit more patient, and you've got to find different ways to connect with people, which I think that's important in any walk of life and in any generation, that you always find a way to connect with people. That's how you find common ground. That's how you subconsciously connect with somebody and say we're alike. And if there's any differences, or if there's any unknowns, because you're kind of breaking that wall of friendship and getting to know people, those are the bridges you have to cross. Because the faster you get to know somebody, the faster you get to find out you have things in common, then those are the ways you build a bridge to connect with somebody. But if you're the only way you connect with somebody is by them showing you some level of respect, which then means you will then allow them inside, that's not going to go far with the people that are of this ilk now. This millennial, this Generation Z, that's not going to go that way. You can't tell women, okay, look, when I was young, or if I can still probably, which you don't do, but I can still probably tell an older Latin woman, Latin, okay? I can probably still tell an older Latin woman in her 40s or 50s or 60s, hey, you look great today. And she'll take it the right way. She's not, I'm not necessarily trying to hit on her. I'm just actually saying, hey, you look great today. And you mean it as a compliment, hey, hair looks fantastic. In today's world, you compliment a woman, it's almost sexual assault. You understand? It's a different world now in every way possible. How you communicate with kids, how men and women communicate, what is considered appropriate and inappropriate is completely different nowadays. We talk about this all the time. Don Rickles and Red Fox and George Jefferson and Archie Bunker and all those people could never survive in this world. And the Don Shulas would have a hard time with today's, players. And you've got to find, Pat Riley would struggle with today's players at times. And you've got to find another plateau to communicate with them. You cannot be the ogre all the time. You just cannot be that dude, because they will turn. If you have kids, you know what I'm talking about. It's just the way it is, man. It's a different society. And Mike McDaniel is better suited to connect with some of these kids today. For Christ's sake, I just read where Kyrie Irving hired his stepmom to be his agent. Now, the article was short. I don't know much about her, but I'm pretty sure she's not an NBA agent. A guy that's already a utter disaster because he's kind of part of this society. You know what I mean? Oh my God, there's a conflict in somewhere, and it's affecting my life here. It's like, it's he can't compartmentalize, the very popular word we use here on the show. Yeah, when as you're growing up in our generations, they tell you and force you and tell you to compartmentalize constantly. Okay, this happened. Let it go. Go do your job. Okay, you struck out. No problem. Get your ass back out on the field and play defense. It's like you kind of had to learn to put crap aside. You would get your ass kicked by your mom or your dad, and an hour later, you're hugging your mom or dad, and you forgot all about it, and it's water under the bridge. You think you could do that nowadays? You take a belt to your kid nowadays, and that's going to stay with them like luggage. They're not going to get over it for years. We used to cry in our rooms for like 20, 30 minutes. Then, you wipe them, you walk to the refrigerator, you go get a popsicle, and you just get over it and you move on and you forget about it. And by dinner time, you're having your dinner and you're, Mom, can I have more maludos? Yes. All right. And you forgot all about it and you move on. Ain't going to happen in today's world. It's not going to happen in today's world. And when I see Mike McDaniel, I see a guy that is quick-witted, that's got humor, that has had his own life experiences that have humbled him, obviously. And so he has also patience. And he understands what it's like to have setbacks in your life and try to overcome them. So a person like that is kind of built already to handle the adversity that is this generation and these kind of players and the life that they live and their social media and their existence of me and my brand. And it's a whole different world, ladies and gentlemen. And these kids are coddled from when they're in little league, and they're given everything. And so by the time they get to you, they've been given everything and they almost expect it. And it's an entitlement that comes with it. And then when it doesn't go their way, then that's when you've got the Kyrie Irvings and the others that they just kind of Ben Simmons and they flake out. So you could call it some kind of mental shortcoming. You can call it some kind of depression. You can call it some kind of weakness. I don't know what you want to label it. Everybody looks at it differently, but I will look at it like this. They're wired completely different. And it just seems like Mike McDaniel is kind of wired to be able to connect with these kind of guys. That tweet we talked about yesterday, that, you had the Jeff Ireland asking Des Bryant about, his mom being a prostitute. You had, Flo, who never wanted Tua, and Tua knew it right from the get-go because the guy never. I mean, the best part about Flo that I guess he doesn't realize, he can't hide his emotions. He can't hide how he thinks. Everybody sees it. He's the only idiot that thinks we don't see it. And then the third one was Mike McDaniel interrogating a young player at the combine because of his 90s hip hop knowledge, that he was like, amazed that the kid knew that much about 90s hip hop. So he's interrogating him about his 90s hip hop knowledge. And that's the one that is unalarming. It's undressing. It's connecting. It's chemistry. It's understanding. It's here's the vine. I'm reaching out to you. The olive branch. I'm sorry. That's it. He finds a different way. And so that way, once he connects with him with the 90s hip hop, and then he goes, wow, this guy's cool. Oh, this guy gets it. And then he's maybe opens up about other things about himself. So in that interview, you have a chance to find out more about that young man, because instead of you sitting there like an ogre and respect me because I'm Mr. Authority and you are nothing but some college kid that wants a job from me, that guy is just going to tell you what you want to hear. Mike McDaniel, because he connects, he might have a chance to get something out of the kid that Mr. Ogre could not. So that's the thing that comes off for me for Mike McDaniel, which makes me like him even more, because it's a challenge to connect with young people. It's not an easy thing. It's a gift. What teachers do every day is a gift. It's incredible how they can connect with student after student and generation after generation. It's a challenge for them. And to be able to educate young people nowadays and every year, it is truly amazing. All right, the Welton Rayom text line, 855-912-1056. That's 855-912-1056. If you want to get in on the program, you can also reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Radio Show at yahoo.com. Big O Radio Show at yahoo.com. Hey, don't forget, folks, Tommy B. Butts Enterprises. When we talk about Tommy B. Butts Jr., we talk about a man that knows roofs. Highly skilled and crafted roof mechanics. They specialize in all style roofs. And we've been telling you about Tommy B. Butts for a while now, folks. Make sure you check out your roof now. We're now in the new year. We're already into the third month. We're a couple of months away now from hurricane season. When the rainy season starts, you don't want your furniture and your house getting ruined. So inspect that roof. If you need to repair it, if you still have a blue tarp, call Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises.com, 954-735-9826. That's 954-735-9826. You can go to the website, Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises.com, and Tommy as in Tommie, by the way. All right. Check it out for yourself, folks. Licensed and insured. They've been around for over 25 years. AAA rating from the Better Business Bureau. They are outstanding. When you meet Tommy, he is a gentleman and a half. A great family man. He's got 5 sons. They all listen to the show. They're all supportive of the show. Please reach out to Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises. Businesses, homes, you name it, they will take care of it. By the way, they're also a Y green contractor. So if you're looking to go more green and you don't want to depend so much on, regular electricity, you want to save a lot of money in the long run and, of course, be more environmental friendly, they are a Y green contractor also. So check it out, 954-735-9826. Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises.com. They are real good people, man. They will definitely take care of you. I promise you there. What else do we have to talk about? We got a lot of things to talk about. Great job by the Heat. Last night, I know that they were missing, Kyrie Irving. And I know Miami is missing Kyle Lowry and all that stuff. And Shams Charania, by the way, broke the news that Oladipo is going to make his debut. Let me see, what was it? Let me make sure I get the right date here before I say it. I think it's March 12th, I want to say, that I saw Charania tweeted out. So March 12th, that's actually pretty cool that you are going to get Oladipo back. It says Victor Oladipo and the Miami Heat plan for the 2-time All-Star to make his season debut Monday against the Houston Rockets. There we go. Sources tell The Athletic and Stadium. Oladipo is making a full recovery and return from quad tendon injury on April 21st with this comeback game versus the Rockets franchise that traded him to Miami last trade deadline. So there you go. I don't know what day the Rockets game is. But there, the Rockets game, March 8th. There you go. Thank you for helping me out there on that one. So March 8th against the Rockets, we will get Oladipo back. That's huge. Anyway, so last night, they beat the Nets 113-107. I saw Bruce Brown had 21 points, former UMer. Durant looked good, man. 31 points. Bam was awesome. Strus, fantastic. Caleb, Tyler, Duncan, a disaster. Duncan is stealing money this year. He's absolutely stealing money this year. There's no doubt about it. But here's what I'm going to tell you about the Nets. I'm not worried about them. So if they play them, I've said this to Ira, and I'll continue to say it, and it had really nothing to do with last night. I don't think they're better than the Miami Heat. In any way, shape, or form. They can get everybody back. They can get their shooter back. They can get everybody back. I don't care. I don't care. Miami is better, deeper. They play better defense. They to me, they're just the all-around team. Oh, by the way, the breaking news, the Supreme Court has reinstated the death sentence for 2013 Boston Marathon bomber, the Zorkar, whatever the loser's name is. Good. Hope they sizzle his ass. Hope they sizzle it like halfway, and then he's kind of alive, and they zap him again. He's kind of alive, and they zap him again, and he's kind of alive, and then they stick bamboo in his fingernails, and then they zap him again just a little bit to keep him alive, and then they stick bamboo in his toenails, and then they zap him again, and they keep him alive. Then let him hang out for a little while, then zap him again, that kind of stuff. There's not enough suffering for that guy, in other words. Anyway, you don't want me as a judge. So, Heat, I am not worried about the Nets in any way, shape, or form. They don't have the defensive disposition. They're not tough enough when it's all said and done. And Miami has the defensive disposition to at least make life harder on Durant and make life hard on Kyrie Irving. I mean, I would get incredibly physical with Kyrie Irving because I just think he's kind of a pussy as it is. You know what I mean? So it's, I that's the kind of guy that I think you could get in his head. I would unleash a Patrick Beverley type of defender on him just to F with him constantly. A Stevenson blowing in his ear, all that kind, because I think he's the kind of guy that will get flustered. But you got to get physical and nasty with him, and in the playoffs, you're able to do a little bit of that, and so if you could throw a couple bodies at him to constantly just F with him, I think that would do a lot, and that would get him completely off his game. The Nets, for me, I know everybody talks about the two guys and all of that. I just don't see it. I don't see enough chemistry when it's all said and done. I don't see enough of a defensive team when it's all said and done. I just, to me, what can I tell you? I have no respect for that Nets team. They got some talent, but I think the Heat team is 1,000 times more tough than the Nets. And it had nothing to do with last night. And let me tell you something. If Depot's coming back against Houston, and somehow or another they figured out a way to get his body right, and he, most important, if Oladipo has confidence in his body, wow, they should be the favorites to win the finals. That's the way I look at the Heat. If Depot comes back like that, okay, now that's a lot to ask for him to overcome everything that's happened to him the last couple of years. That would be incredibly mentally tough on his part to be able to put all of that aside. It reminds me a lot of what Bernard King did for a very short window when Bernard King blew out his knee in a time that was a death sentence. But somehow or another, he found enough energy and balls because the surgery wasn't enough for him to have a career. So for one magical season, he came back and played out of his mind. And there's no doubt in my mind, as I look back at that he was carrying that leg, that it was sheer will. It was the power of the human, what would I call it? The human dynamic, that you just cannot underestimate the power of the mind and the will of the human being in the heart of a man or woman, of course. And that's what was Bernard King that year. Because after that, he couldn't do it again, and he was out of the league. But you could tell that he was dead set on coming back, saying, no, that's not my death sentence. I'm going to prove to you. And he had a magical year. But that takes an immense amount of mental toughness that Bernard King needed that year to be that player. So the question is, does Oladipo possess that kind of mentality that he can compartmentalize and forget about the last couple of years and say, that was an aberration. That's not who I am. You know who I am? The guy you saw 4 years ago as an all-star. That's who I am. So let's see. Let's see. If they get Oladipo back and he is close to what he was, oh my God. He'd have to be the favorites. Because all of a sudden now you added another excellent defender, too, on the perimeter. Let's see. All ESPN did this morning was give head to the Nets and how they lost and close, and the Heat, instead of focusing on how the Heat won without JB in the lineup. Listen, God bless Charles Barkley. Okay? We can't play the cut because then, YouTube will go nuts. We played some cut from TNT. But Barkley basically, he's no longer calling the Lakers. He's calling that team from Southern California, those losers, all that kind of stuff. And his statement was 1,000% right. And this happens all the time. He says, man, ESPN and us here in TNT, we spend more time and waste more time talking about these losers. And he's right. And it's whatever hype that is there, and the Nets have the hype. They're a New York team, so you got the media market. And then you've added Durant and Kyrie, so it's a constant 24 hours. And you're right, Adam. They should be talking about the Heat, how they have the better coach, who's one of the best coaches of all time now, not just the NBA. Not just right now, he's one of the best coaches in the NBA. No. He's one of the best coaches of all time. And how he has coached up that entire team and developed young guys. And they've gotten through all the injuries, and they're 20 games above 500. The Heat has every storyline you can talk about. And Bam talked about it. I miss time, we win. Jimmy misses time, we win. Lowry misses time, we win. He's right. That's what needs to be talked about. The incredible Miami Heat. Probably one of the most impressive runs in the NBA this year is the Miami Heat. Because none of us thought it would be this good. Because none of us saw them being this deep. Because who the hell expected Yurtseven, Strus, Caleb Martin, and Gabe Vincent to become the factors that they've become? Nobody. So you're right, Adam. They should be talking about the Heat. But we're not New York, and we're not LA. So we won't ever have that kind of media power. You have to go big three. You have to be so obvious that then the world wants to see you. But right now, it's the Heat has to convince them. Because Bam, while he is developing into a superstar, he's not there yet, and he's not the household name. Jimmy Butler is really an all-star with a superstar heart, by the way, but he's really an all-star. So the names aren't there. There are no superstars on this team. And that's why we don't get that kind of attention. But Kyrie Irving the goofball that he is considered a superstar. Even though I don't look at him that way, but he's considered that. Durant, there's no doubt he's a universal superstar. That's kind of the deal, unfortunately. Bernard King was Joe Johnson. No, dude. No. Different kind of players, Cidola. Different kind of players, my brother. Not sure you watched Bernard King. Bernard King was nasty around the basket. Joe Johnson was always just a shooter. Lisa says, good Friday morning, Big O. Sean and Finn family, who are you excited to see work out at the Combine this week, and who do you think the Finns will target at 29? Lisa, I still don't know who. I still don't have a great idea on who they're going to target at 29 because I got to get through free agency first. I got to see what needs they fill in free agency. Then I'll have a better feel for what direction they may go in the draft. It's really hard until free agency's done. Then I'll try an educated guess. As for workouts, don't care. I don't care. I don't care about the South Florida kid running a 4.19 or a 3.25 or whatever he ran. I don't care. It does nothing for me. It means nothing to me whatsoever. It never has. Oh, well, no, I shouldn't say that. It hasn't meant something to me in over 10 years, probably. I used to kind of track that stuff at times, and once you hang around enough NFL people, you realize that it's just for you guys. It's just a bunch of show, a bunch of BS. Nothing else. It's not really a determining factor in the end of what you're going to do in the draft. That's it. Big O, did you see they're about to cut Cooper? Are you talking about the receiver for the Cowboys? Well, I wouldn't trade for a receiver, but if I think you're talking about Amari Cooper because they've got some cap issues. Is that what you're talking about? Well, I would definitely sign a receiver. I would not trade for a receiver, but I would sign a receiver if you got a chance. Manuel says Schefter is saying Cowboys will probably release Amari Cooper. You think Miami? Yeah, I have no problem signing Amari Cooper. That would be, I think, a really good move for the Miami Dolphins. Yes. I like that one. What single free and plus he's young, so he can live out his next contract, and he's an exceptional route runner. And for a guy like Tua, who is exceptionally accurate, ball placement, anticipatory skills, and great route runner, oh my God. Okay? Because the great route runner and the great anticipatory thrower are a combination that is deadly because they're going to be going to a spot that only they know and the DB doesn't. And it's not like a straight line run that you're just, okay, everybody knows what's happening. No, there's going to be a juke. There's going to be a double move, and you don't know where he's going, but Tua will know, and Amari will know. So, yes, I love Amari Cooper for Tua Tagovailoa because those are precision route runners like Marvin Harrison. You know, people like that, the Jerry Rices of the world, those kind of exceptional route runners that they run the route exactly every single time. So every time you throw it in practice, it will then duplicate itself on the field because the kid's not going to panic and he's not going to run it 2 yards shorter, 2 yards deeper because he went scatterbrain on you. No. The discipline will be there to run the route and set the cornerback up at the same time. So all of those kind of things are incredibly important. So Amari Cooper is perfect for a guy like Tua Tagovailoa. a guy like Bob Greasy, a guy like Drew Brees, guys that can throw to spots to where the runner, the receiver is going to be. That is golden. You can't do that with Chad Johnson, but you can do that with great route runners. Specific and to the T route runners. Amari Cooper is that guy. He was that guy practically in high school. Okay? Yeah, Amari Cooper is one of those dudes, bro. So I like that one. That one, as the late great Mad Dog would say, that would get my toes tingling. Big O, did you see Good Morning Football? They were trying to figure out what Mike McDaniel was trying to say when he said Tua hasn't ever been tapped into yet. I laughed so hard, tears came out of my eyes. Yeah, and let me tell you something. I love that Mike McDaniel said that, because that's exactly what I've been talking about here on the show. You have not seen the real Tua Tagovailoa because you've watched kind of a shadow of what he can be, only because you don't have any intelligence on the sidelines. You didn't have any great coaching on the sidelines. Now you're going to see what Tua can be, because you're going to have coaching that is going to complement him. And just like Bill Walsh complimented Joe Montana, it's the same thing. That's what's going to happen here. And I think that is going to end up, when you have a running game and now linebackers are on their heels, and now all of a sudden safeties have to cheat up a little bit, and now all of a sudden the middle of the field becomes a little bit more of a problem for the defense, you're going to see how Tua Tagovailoa is going to work out. When you start seeing that the running game is punishing the defense and it sucks up the defense, and all of a sudden now on that 3 or 5 step drop, it's plant, drop, 9 route. Why? Because you sucked the defense up and you left a DB and the receiver by himself, and 30, 35 yards downfield, there's Waddle or Amari Cooper ahead of their defender and gliding away for a touchdown. You'll see. You're going to realize the difference between real coaching and the crap you saw last year that was remedial offense at best. And especially an incredibly remedial offensive line. And that's what needs to change. So when they say that Tua's talent hasn't been even tapped yet, that Mike McDaniel sees a lot of the things that I see. And a lot of you out there that understand that you haven't done anything on offense. Because if you can't run the ball or you can't block, your playbook is so limited, it's over. It's just over. But when you can run and you can actually block, the entire playbook opens up to you, and it opens up for the quarterback. And then now he has more weapons to come at you. Ray Grullon, thank you, sir. Says 85% chance we trade out of the first round. Yes, Ray, again, I'll tell you what I told Lisa. I think that may happen, but first, let's get through free agency. Let's see what they fill, and then we could kind of get a feel for what they may go after in the draft, and then how strong are those positions in the latter part of the first round. And then we'll have a feel if those positions are just as strong at 29 and they are at 36 or 39, then I can tell you, yeah, they're probably going to trade down. But if there's a position or two at 29 that I don't think they can get at 35 or 40, then I'm going to tell you they're going to stay right there, and they're going to probably go for this, that, or that. So first, let's see what happens in free agency so we can actually make a more educated guess in the draft. Right now, it's really a crapshoot. Justin Vaccaro, thank you, sir, for the love on the super chat. Says, would you bring Landry back if he's released by Cleveland? Well, are you asking me for Amari Cooper or Landry? Now, here we go. If you get me Amari Cooper, then I'm going to put Waddle and Cooper on the outsides, and I'm going to try to put somebody else in the middle. I don't know. Gesicki, Ford, whatever, whatever. But if you get me Landry, I can then move Waddle to the outside and Landry where he belongs in the slot. Then that changes the dynamics. You got me? So with Cooper, I could keep Waddle in the middle, but I probably wouldn't. I'm probably going to go and put him outside with Cooper and then try to find somebody else to work the middle of the field. And you do have Wes Welker, so you can teach somebody from a guy that ran from that position, one of the best ever to ever do it in that slot. So I think that's a big thing when it's all said and done, my friend. So give me till free agency, because right now, if I give you a guess, it's going to be a bad guess. That's all. So Landry, depending on the money, as long as the money's not crazy, it makes a lot of sense to add Landry so you can put him naturally in the slot, and then I move Waddle to the outside, and now I can take advantage of his speed. Once you get a running game, now Waddle becomes much more valuable on the outside because now hopefully you'll have better weapons too at the same time. That's the other thing this team needs. This team needs to have, better weapons. Bitcoin, by the way, just under 41,000 right now. All right, let's do this. Let's take a quick break. Don't forget, we're going to be at Canesware tomorrow. We'll be broadcasting 11 to 1. Tyler Van Dyke is signing autographs. Buy your tickets. Go to canesware.com. Get your tickets if you want to get an autograph signing from Tyler Van Dyke. They'll have stuff there that you can purchase and sign right there at Canesware, baby. We'll be broadcasting live at 11 to 1. Let's take a quick break. Hour number 2 is next.
Oh, great. You got a doorbell camera. Now you got a front row seat to your house getting robbed. No. And there's nothing you can do about it.
Get out of my house!
Ooh, Mom's jewelry. There goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slowens, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, a free doorbell camera.
Free?
One that'll actually work for you. It's not total security unless it's the Sloman Shield. Call 1-800-ALARM-NATE.
South Florida's premier law enforcement agency is now hiring individuals like you. The Fort Lauderdale Police Department is now accepting applications for non-certified and certified police officer positions. Minimum requirements and qualifications can be found at flpdjobs.com. That's flpdjobs.com. Are you ready? The city of Fort Lauderdale is an equal opportunity employer. When you're ready to purchase a new home loan or refinance the one you have, American Dream Lending will make sure your loan experience is easy with fast approvals and quick closings. With many loan programs and competitive rates, now is the time to turn your dreams into reality. Ask about special financing for veterans. They never charge an application fee and you will work directly with one of their experienced loan professionals. Stop dreaming and contact American Dream Lending today, 786-802-1727 or online at adreamlending.com. When protecting your family is your priority, there's nothing more important than a roof above the people you love. Call Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises.com, 954-735-9826 or 954-394-1411 and ask to speak to Tommy, the owner. They specialize in all kinds of roofs, led by their highly crafted, skilled, and professional roof mechanics. All of their previous customers have an opportunity to enter their bi-weekly drawings to receive free an exterior impact metal door. Please call for more details. That's Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises.com, 954-735-9826 or 954-394-1411. Trust Tommy to fortify and protect what's most important to you, your family. The Big O Radio Show is looking for an experienced salesperson in the radio or TV business. The candidate must have at least 5 years of sales experience in the broadcast business over the last 10 years. Please email your phone number and resume to BigORadioShow@yahoo.com. That's BigORadioShow@yahoo.com. Looking for an aggressive person who can help our platform expand into many avenues in our business. Reach out if you are the person that's able to make a difference.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. Time for Canes fans to get what they want. Information, insight, and perspective. It's the Caneswear Miami Hurricanes Report with Manny Navarro, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. Here's Big O and insider Manny Navarro.
All righty. By the way, before I start with Manny, Doe chimed in with a little super chat. And, you know, Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprise is obviously a proud sponsor of ours and does a great job with roofing. And we've been telling you about it. Doe sent in a super chat. He says, no lie, Tommy did my granny's roof and kitchen, and I had to be about 7. My aunt now lives there. Minor repairs, but they just had a new roof done, and I'm 31. Okay, that's a long time, baby. So
yep.
that's praise there. So Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises, thank you, Doe, for chiming in on that. That was very nice of you. But he's a good man. So if you do need roof repair, 25 years in the business, man. So call Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises. They will take care of you. All right, my man. How are you doing, Manny? You doing all right? You feeling good?
Doing great, man. Getting ready for the start of spring practice next week, and just keeping busy, man, with all the developments, right, on the coaching staff and roster and all that kind of stuff.
All right, we'll get to that in a minute. But are you going to be covering the NIL event tomorrow at Caneswear?
Man, I wish I could. I have a birthday party in St. Augustine for my 1-year-old nephew.
Right.
The first birthday. You know how it is in those Cuban families. Everybody has to be there for that for the first birthday party, right? So yeah, I'm taking my daughters and wife.
Birthday party the kid will never remember. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
The rest of us have to remember, but the kid will never. You just have pictures, right? He'll be like, "Hey, look, these are the people. Who's that came to my first birthday party?" So.
Hey, you runt. You see, you made me go to your damn birthday party. I could have gone to the Tyler Van Dyke signing and got a great story.
Yes, exactly.
Meanwhile, I'm drinking terrible water from the fountain of youth, and I'm at your party. Come on. I get you.
Yeah, brother.
But anyway, I will actually be a madhouse tomorrow, dude. That place is going to be a madhouse tomorrow.
It will be, but I'll actually get a chance, I think, to see Tyler today and a couple of other Hurricanes. I'm going to a little special event that's going on. Okay. You know, John Ruiz related. So I will get my chance to see him anyway. So okay, I'm happy about that.
I like it. I like it. I got so obviously the elephant in the room is the question we got to ask you. The Jason Taylor thing. I mean, this sounds like, wow, this is a coup, dude. So from what I read, so he is off the field role pass rush specialist. So talk to us a little bit about this.
Yeah, I mean, I think Mario initially, when all this started, probably about a month ago or whenever it was that he started having his conversations with JT, it was, hey, can we get you on staff? Can we get you to be a defensive ends coach? And, you know, JT's got 2 kids in college. He's got a daughter who's going to Aquinas. He's got another newborn child. He's a busy man. And, you know, all of these kind of roles, while they require great dedication, I think it also requires flexibility for a guy like him. And he's got a ton of money, right, that he's made in his playing career. It's not like he needs it for the money, right? Doesn't need it for the money. I think this is more of a passion project for Jason. He likes coaching. I think Cristobal sold him on the idea of having a role in some capacity, which is working with pass rushers, making Miami's pass rushers better. And it appears that, he's reached a deal with Roderick Wright to be the defensive ends coach. Roderick Wright, of course, was with the Dolphins. So now you kind of have Jason working with a guy who he played with, right? And knows and can communicate with easily. So I think this is sort of a combination deal where you got two guys that are going to take on a project together. And that's the way Mario's ultimately shaped his staff. He wants great on-field coaches, and he wants great off-field coaches, analysts, guys that are going to be able to break down film and help these guys reach an elite level. And that's what he's doing. He's doing what they have at Alabama. This is to me, a carbon copy of what the system Nick Saban set up at Alabama, to have great influencers and people around the program.
It's to me, this is a cool dude to have a Hall of Famer. I mean, you're a young defensive end. How do you not want to go there? And then Roderick Wright. How long has he been? Because I didn't do my homework on the Texas San Antonio defensive
3 years.
staff. How many?
He was 2019 is when he went there, and he was defensive line coach, I think, for the first year. Then he's been the run defense coordinator the last couple years, and before that he was at East Carolina.
So he got there just after the kid that went to New Orleans.
Right. Correct.
Marcus,
the kid that was drafted, you're talking about?
Yeah, he's
Davenport, or I forget what it's
Davenport, Marcus Davenport, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it Marcus Davenport? Yeah. So Davenport left, and then he got. So that's what I was wondering. Wow, did this guy find and develop Davenport? I was wondering, because I'm like, whoa, then this guy's a badass, dude. Because Davenport. Because when I got to the Senior Bowl, Davenport was like the talk of it. It's like, oh, you got to see this kid from Texas San Antonio, this and that, and it was. That was the end of Coker's run, if I'm correct, right? When did Coker leave Texas San Antonio? Like,
it's been a while. It's been a little while now.
18 or 19, right?
Yeah. I mean, he started the program there, basically got it off on the right foot, and they were winning pretty quickly there with him. I can't remember what year Coker stepped down. I know this. I know this guy's been coaching for a decade now. He's been on college staff for over a decade, so it's not like he's some newborn baby or something that's inexperienced. He's 37, I think, 37 years old. And he's been around the game plenty, and was a good player himself. He won a national championship at Texas, right? He was part of that team with Vince Young and the one that beat USC. So, he'll be another guy. I mean, I just think, I drove up to Lakeland on Tuesday for that Mario speech at the church, where he got a chance to speak to the 5-star cornerback Cormani McClain. And I talked to Mario for like 15-20 minutes, and the thing I sense from just talking to him, A, he's exhausted with how hard he's been working, and B, he loves the whole process of building a staff. Like, this is what he enjoys, like recruiting, whether it's high school players or coaches. He loves this process. So like he really loves it. And you would think most guys, after 3 or 4 months of interviews, like they'd be, I'm tired of this, or let's get these guys in there. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's more guys that are added here in analyst type roles in the weeks and months ahead. I mean, the Alonzo Highsmith thing has been out there for a while as a potential GM of football. That'll probably happen here in soon. And then there's other, just people in football in general. But his whole thing is he wants guys that are going to fit Miami and fit his vision, that are going to be willing to work hard, to grind, to make this thing a championship power. And he enjoys that process. He really does. He likes and I'm telling you, he's probably talked to over 100 people about jobs at Miami.
Okay. All right. That's interesting, man. So, I mean, like, they need to accomplish something. But this is now starting to, get a feel of that Jimmy Johnson staff, that was freaking legendary with all those guys on that staff. And a lot of those guys went to other places and became head coaches and all over the place, and even national championships. I mean, Ogeron was under that staff, right? Wasn't he or did he come right after?
And now that you mentioned Orgeron, he'll be somebody that I overheard Mario telling people that will be coming down to speak to the team at some point. Mario's got like a list of all these great I think Jimmy's going to be back on campus here in the spring. Like, how Saban, You seen how Saban does those where he's got
Yeah.
people from all walks of sports coming inside. I'm telling you, man, it's the same playbook. It's the same playbook. Mario's got all these people lined up. Orgeron's another one of them. But go ahead. I'm sorry. I know I killed you.
No, it's great. I mean, I just think it's fantastic. It's just, I mean, they need to accomplish something, but man, this is an impressive staff, dude. I mean, this is such an impressive staff that I'm going to be shocked if you don't win big. Put it that way. That's kind of, I'm expecting big recruiting. I'm expecting big production overall. With the kind of money you're spending, the names I'm seeing, am I wrong here that I should not be thinking like that?
I think they're set up to win the division the first year. Whether or not they're good enough to beat Clemson at the end of the year with that monster defensive line that Clemson has, we'll find out, right? But I think they're certainly, to me, going in on paper, I would say they're the favorites to win the Coastal because the other three teams that had great quarterbacks, two of them are gone, right? Pittsburgh and North Carolina, they're both gone. And then Virginia lost its head coach and its entire offensive line, which wasn't good to begin with, but their starters are all gone. They all entered and left through the transfer portal. Those are the teams that you had the biggest trouble with last year. You lost to Virginia and North Carolina. And so to me, this is the year where it's sort of the perfect storm for them to right off the bat win the division, get into the championship game, and then we'll see what happens from there. But 9-10 wins, that's what I expect with this group. They have holes to fill, though. I mean, linebacker to me still remains number one. I would say defensive ends is number two. Who emerges as the number two cornerback is number three. Right tackle, just Jalen Rivers come back healthy and perform at a high level. There's guys that are hurt. Okay, practice starts Monday. There's going to be guys that are not going through contact stuff because they didn't go through the fourth quarter program. And I can tell you, Mario looks at this roster still and says we can be a lot better. We can be a lot better than what we are. And so I think from that perspective, talent, development, all of that's going to get better eventually. But where is it right now? It's still 7-5. It's still a 7-5 roster, right? It hasn't changed that much from the 7-5 record I had a year ago.
It's a 7-5 roster because of the coaching.
I would say yes. I would say that has something to do with it. But I would also say, that I think the other part of it is there's some guys that are still here that shouldn't be here.
I get that, but even those guys will end up playing better under better coaching. Period. Yes. You know what I mean? And some of them may not end up playing, and then they'll get the message and they'll finally leave. You know what I mean? Because if they haven't gotten the message by now, eventually they'll get the message when they get outplayed by the next guy, and then they'll have to move on. They'll have no choice. So either way, you'll weed those people out that you need. But I look at it like the Dolphins a little bit, that you have your defense in place. The special teams took a little step back, but it can get back to normal. Really, your problem is trying to fix the offense. So you're not really rebuilding. And with the Canes, I don't think you're rebuilding. I think you've now reloaded. You've got your coaching staff, and I think everybody's going to be better now. And then obviously with the transfers and everything else, I think you got it. I think you nailed it. I think the division has to be yours this year. We can't demand the conference yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if you're challenging for it, man. You got a quarterback. If you can play defense, you got a shot, dude.
Yeah, there's no question. Shot. There's no question. Look, Wake Forest made the conference championship game last year, and Miami, I thought, had a better roster than they did, and just couldn't get there because of a couple of disappointing losses. But ultimately, what Mario has to do is make sure he doesn't lose to the Virginias and the Dukes of the world, because I think that is going to be the first sign of panic. I think he's got to keep. I think he's got to keep it tight with Texas A&M. You can't go on the road and lose by 40 points to a super loaded Texas A&M roster full of 5-star kids that Jimbo's brought in there. You have to play respectable in a game like that. Those will be the early signs, but really the season comes down to the end. It's the last two games. It's Clemson, it's Pittsburgh back-to-back to end the regular season, and then the ACC championship game and a bowl game. And I think those last 4 games, I'm saying Mario's going to get into the ACC championship game. Those last 4 games is what we're going to judge him on year one.
Yeah, Tony Zagalis on the chat board had a good one. The dumb penalties will be over for sure this season for the U. That has to end under Mario. The stupid penalties, the wrong attitude on the sidelines.
Yeah.
I don't think you want people dancing and laughing while you're losing. And I know you've mentioned this like in passing because it hasn't been official yet, but he's eliminating the turnover chain and all that kind of crap too, right?
That's what it seems like. I don't want to. I don't want to say officially because with Mario, they still haven't even announced the Charlie Strong hire, right? There still hasn't been a press release from
Wow,
Miami with all those.
I didn't even realize that actually.
Yeah.
Really, they have.
So
Wow, I didn't
no.
even notice that. Okay.
Yeah. So all of those things,
Damn, that's a
it comes with
detailed
time.
contract, by the way, if it's taking
Yeah.
that long.
Yeah.
Holy moly. Damn,
Um.
he's setting up his out just in case. All right, I got it. I got it, Charlie. It's understandable. It's
Right.
understandable. You
I,
might
I
get
would
an
say
opportunity somewhere else.
I would say we could talk about it probably being the case that it won't exist this coming season, but I don't want to write anything in blood or stone. Yeah. you know, don't
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
never
because
know.
I could see him bringing it back after they've earned it.
Could be
After
a
they're a really good team, when he starts to feel like, okay, our talent isn't going to put us in an embarrassing situation, which is what's happened the last few years with poor coaching. You're down by 20 and you score a touchdown and you're celebrating, and it's like, dude, you're down by 20. Shut the hell up and get back out there and line up again. There's nothing to celebrate. You know what I mean? And those are the moments that kind of piss you off about those things. And that's why, knowing Mario, old school, what did they do at Oregon? Did they do any of that?
I think they had something
Didn't
to
they have a
celebrate.
throne or something?
They had a
Did they have
throne. I don't know if it was like a touchdown throne or whatever it was. But listen, I mean, part of this whole thing, is really for the recruits. Like it's for them to be like, oh, that's something cool that you can do. Like it's just like another layer, and it's a marketing ploy type deal. I think as long as you're, like you said, you're not celebrating down 21 points, an interception or whatever, throwing out the touchdown rings when you're down, when you're getting your ass handed to you. I think as long as it's not embarrassing, I think it's fine to let the kids enjoy stuff on the sideline when they're winning. That's fine. But hey, we'll find out soon enough. I think ultimately, he is so invested in getting this thing right, man, that whatever he's got to do to adjust, he'll adjust.
Yeah. Well, it seems the good thing I got to say as a Canes fan, because I never ever 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 did I tell you ever expected them to spend this kind of money ever.
I
Never did
remember.
I ever expect this. So it's really nice that at least a coach has everything he needs to succeed. It looks to me like you're also giving that power and that budget to a guy that knows how to use it the right way too, which is really important. Also, you know what I mean.
Hmm.
So that's the one thing that you got to like as a Canes fan, that you're now on an even level playing field with everybody else, and that,
Right.
my friends, is refreshing because you've always been fighting the fight of bags of money being dropped off at recruits' homes by Alabama and Ohio State and Michigan and Texas and whatever else, and USC and all that kind of stuff. And you have never been able to compete with that ever behind the scenes. Now that it's front and center, it's nice to see the Ruizes and the Mosses of the world step up and actually get it done. It's crazy.
Yeah, I wonder now. Oh, I mean, you and I have known this, right? That Miami hasn't spent the money on the assistant coaches. They haven't invested. Like we're journalists. We've covered these teams, right? And we know the history. I wonder when the fans will get the message, right? Will they ever sit back and think, you know what? Manny Diaz did the best he could. He didn't have the same ingredients. Randy
Right.
Shannon did the best he could. This is like, maybe I needed to, revisionist history a little bit, like, looking back and saying, instead of always being like, man, these guys suck, they were terrible. And it's like, no, look at the situation he was in. Look what he was competing against at the time, resource wise, staff wise, all of that. I think it's fair. I think it's fair in some ways to look back on the
In
past
some
years.
ways, in some ways,
Right?
in some
And
ways,
maybe give these
'cause
guys a little
in
bit of
other
a break.
ways, yeah, no,
Right.
because in other ways, Mario is way more accomplished than Golden, Diaz,
Right.
and Shannon ever were. I think the last accomplished guy would be Rick that you got, and then before that, you'd have to go back to Dennis Erickson,
Yep.
right? Rose Bowl with Washington State. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's the problem too. That you also, because of your budget, you had to go cheap and you had to go with the unknown, unproven coach from a smaller program or a coordinator. Now you ended up taking a coach from a Power Five. Remember, this has never been done before. You took somebody's Power Five coach who has a deep what's it called, budget, also at the same time, with a obviously a leader in the program that has deep pockets. So you're able to steal. Now you're stealing assistant coaches from other top 5 programs. So this is, all these kind of things are unprecedented that Miami has done. That's an article in itself right
Oh,
there
absolutely. Yeah.
of all the
There's no
things
doubt.
that they're doing that they've never ever done before, that they're going, no, no, no. Oh, yeah, you're one of the top ranked schools. Yeah, no, we're taking your head coach. Oh, you're one of the top ranked schools with the best budgets. Yeah, no, we're going to take your offensive coordinator. That shit has never happened before, dude. And we've
Well,
never taken somebody's Power 5 head coach. That's why it's changed.
but here's the warning I would give all Miami fans here, because as much as we love what Mario's done so far, and I have faith that he's going to win here. I don't
Me too.
doubt him. I think he is going to win here. But one thing I would say is, just because you spend money, there are no guarantees. Look at a program like Texas. Look at a program like Oklahoma, who's just lost their head coach to somebody else as well. They were spending money. Look at
USC has
Michigan.
money.
Look at
USC
Michigan.
has money. Yeah.
All of these years, Michigan still can't win a
Tennessee.
championship.
Tennessee's got a boatload of money, and they never get over the hump anymore since they
Right.
lost Philip Fulmer. No, I'm with you. I get it. I get it.
It takes the right.
FSU's got more money than Miami at times. They bought out a coach,
Right.
something that Miami had never done. And look at them; they're struggling too. No, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah, I think what Mario, the biggest challenge Mario has, and this is the biggest knock he had, was that he would lose to teams that he wasn't supposed to. That happened at Oregon, right? A couple times. Stanford.
It happened this year. It happened this
Right.
year. He lost to Utah twice, which he shouldn't have lost to Utah twice.
Right. But the plus is, without question, I think he's a guaranteed top 5 recruiter every year. And that, to me, is ultimately the first ingredient. If you're going to win a championship, the first ingredient has to be recruiting. And we can't sit here and say, I know what the recruiting rankings say, right? Miami was number 13 this year, and number 18 that year, and number 15 this year, and they were number 8 this year, right? Everybody always points, oh, they've had tons of talent. They're just as good. No, man. I think we've watched enough football here in the last 5 to 10 years where we see it's the same teams in the championship every year, because they've got more players than everybody else. And that's what Miami has to get back to if they're going to win championships. That's what they were. They were a team that had more talent than everybody else. And they would beat their ass because they had a Jimmy Johnson and they had a Dennis Erickson, and they had guys that could recruit legitimate championship caliber players. And look at the first round of this draft for the last 10 years and tell me how many Hurricanes you find there. Where are all those great players that used to come here? They're not coming here anymore. Mario is going to change that. There will be great players coming here again. That's the first step.
I agree with that, and I think he'll get better players than he got at Oregon that have that edge that he'll need in order to compete with the Alabamas of the world and Clemson's in order to get a title. All right, what are you working on in The Athletic, my friend, so folks can check you out?
Yeah, well, we have that article that I wrote about from Lakeland, from the trip. It's a very popular one. People are loving that, signing up for that to read that story. So I would plug that one, number one. And then I've got a mailbag. I've got a on the way that I'm going to be answering here, where I answer questions every couple weeks, the big ones that Canes fans have on their minds. That'll be out there, the new mailbag, and then kind of a 5 interesting storylines to watch as camp starts. Those are the two new stories. And like I said, I've got a special little event to attend this afternoon. I'll be writing off of that as well. I don't want to give away too many details. And then there's more news and stuff going to be happening. So just find it all at theathletic.com.
If he has to give us the information, then he'll have to kill us. So let's survive. He is Manny Navarro. Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. More importantly, catch his work there at The Athletic and subscribe and support his great work as always, and support him here a couple times a week on the Canes Wear Miami Hurricanes Report. Thank you, my man. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
You got it. Have a great weekend. There you go. Manny Navarro.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Talking with the folks at Sloman's, and I said, listen, instead of us drafting any linemen, let's draft 5 Alarmos. If we do that, then I know the Tua will be ready to take us to a title. All right? He'll have the vision. He'll be able to see everything. And that's what you want with your Sloman Shield right there. You want a free doorbell camera so you can see everything. Right now, the first 40 Big O listeners, we're going to give you a free doorbell camera. Go to our link below there. You can get it right here on our YouTube page. 1-800-ALARM-ME. Make sure you mention the Big O Radio Show. 1-800-ALARM-ME, and that doorbell camera will connect directly to your smartphone with our Sloman Shield. We're also going to give you a free customized home security system, professional installation, which you always get. And they're so polite. They're also patient. They will educate you on how to use your alarm system all the way through so you feel really good and really comfortable when they leave. Also, their customer service is second to none. So listen, when you use their low-cost central station monitoring, you're going to get an LED touchscreen pad, a motion detector, 3 arm doors, and a backup battery, folks. All you got to do is dial it up, 1-800-ALARM-ME. That's 1-800-ALARM-ME. Tell them that Big O sent you. Tell them that Alarmo sent you. Tell them you want an Alarmo. Maybe they'll throw in an Alarmo on your own there, huh? I mean, everybody should have an Alarmo. Let's give 2 or 5 of them. Let's talk to Omar Kelly. Maybe he can make it happen and get us 5 Alarmos. That's next. For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. The Big O Radio Show is home for the hardcore Dolphins fan. That's why we give you Omar Kelly twice a week. Buckle up. It's time for the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins Report, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show.
Friday, there he is, the man, the myth, the legend that is Omar Kelly. How you doing, baby? How you feeling? You're back from Indy, huh?
Yes, sir. I was on the first thing out smoking on Thursday, so I can be home for my daughter's birthday party on Saturday.
Oh yeah, nice. There you go. At least
got in at 1:00 in the morning, but I'm here.
Okay, all right, tough guy. What's it called? At least you don't have to go to St. Augustine like poor Manny Navarro. He's got to go to a birthday party tomorrow in St. Augustine. I mean, holy moly! The things you do for family.
We do what we got to do for family, bro. So
I know.
It is what it is.
I know. As long as he doesn't have any of that Fountain of Youth, he'll be fine. Did you ever try that? Have you ever gone to St. Augustine and tried the Fountain of Youth?
I think so. I have been to St. Augustine. I don't know about the Fountain of Youth.
Oh, no, you would have remembered. It tastes like shit. So you would have remembered if you had to try that.
You're supposed to drink it? Is it a real fountain?
It's a real fountain. It's a real fountain. Now, I had tried it back in the 70s. Okay, so
okay.
50 years ago. Supposedly it's still there. It's still there. Okay, it's still there. So it's still spewing out that terrible water, and I don't know if they still give you a drink of it, but yeah, it kind of felt like you were in Mexico at the moment. And you're like, oh my God,
What happens after the fact though? After you drink the water?
I don't remember if I was in the bathroom or anything for the next couple of days. I don't remember, but I do remember it tasted terrible. That I do remember. It was terrible, terrible water. So yeah, enough of that. All right. So your thoughts on Mike McDaniel? His let's say, I don't know, his personality. I was kind of talking about this earlier in the first hour, that in a way he's kind of built more to communicate with today's people, young people, not just athletes, because I think they're all the same athletes, whatever. Millennials are millennials, Generation Zs are Generation Zs, whether they're painters or players, they're all the same. But I almost feel like, this is a guy that might be more wired to deal with today's athlete that's a little bit different.
I don't buy that from this standpoint. He's unique. He's quirky. He's his own
witty.
Huh?
Witty. He's witty.
I've coached wittier coaches. He's cut from his own cloth. He's just unique, and he doesn't follow any pattern of what you want, or he's going to do it his way and do his thing. And I think he's always had a unique personality and has a comfort zone in that unique personality. What I found interesting, and this is probably more me than what Dolphins fans find interesting, he's very, very stylish. When I'm talking about from the brands to Balenciaga sneakers to Louis Vuitton book bag, and I've never seen that from a coach, and I find that very interesting. It's stuff that his players will be like, oh yeah.
You need to follow up. You need to follow up on one thing, Omar.
What's that?
One thing. Okay, you got to ask him. All right, coach, come clean. Is this all you? Or
yeah, no. I do want to get to that. Does the wife do your shopping? But you know what? I heard that Malky, who's an agent, a South Florida-based agent,
Kawa, my boy, Malky Kawa.
Yeah, Malky brought it up to him. Malky flew up. I flew up on the plane with Coach, and everybody was on that flight from Miami. And Malky brought it up to him, and Cam Wolf overheard the conversation. And was basically, and he was like, "Yeah, it's to mask my insecurities." And I'm sure that was like a joke, but had some truth in it
some
as
truth
well.
to it, and it's probably his wife, by the way.
Yeah, no.
I'm gonna with that line right there. It's his wife, because he doesn't seem like the kind of guy that's going to worry about those kind of details.
But why shouldn't you have and like nice things, especially when you have money?
No, my brother. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it.
Yeah. Maybe he just likes a Breitling watch, or
maybe he's Pat Riley. You're right. Maybe he has a little Riley in him. Riley likes. He's not going to wear just a watch, just a shirt, just a jacket.
It's not style. It's not style. It's swag. And there is a difference. And the swag will appeal to his players. But ultimately, players want to win. They don't care about anything but, can you help me win? Can you help me get money? And he said that himself. So, he knows
he's exactly a 90s rap guy. He's a 90s rap guy, so maybe that's why he likes his swag.
I mean, he grew up in, come on, who doesn't grow up in that era and is not a 90s rap guy? Like, come on.
There are some lame dicks out there, bro. I'm telling you, there are some. I've met a few of those that they don't like 90s rap.
Like, come on, 90s rap dominated that era of music. It's now what's played on the oldie station. It's still played in clubs. Like, come on, who isn't a 90s rap?
It's the real rap. I mean, it's the best rap ever. 80s and 90s are the best rap ever. Obviously, that's not even.
I would say 90s and the 2000s. I would say the entire Outkast era is the era where the 80s was. They're not early 80s, so 90s rap.
Yeah, but out of the new guys in the last 25 years, they're one of those bands that you love, that they They belong back with the 90s.
Yeah, yeah. But
know?
they're not new guys. Yeah.
No, they're not. They're not. They're of the last 25 years is what I'm saying. So
I'm still
they're
waiting
from
for
this
them to
era.
go on tour. I'll do whatever it takes to go see them on tour. I've seen them
What-
perform once.
But how come they don't do anything anymore? They haven't come up with anything.
Andre 3000 it doesn't do music.
Right, that's what I'm saying. But why is what I'm asking. Why don't they do it?
Because he lost. You gotta read up and you gotta watch his
I don't know.
with
I don't know.
Rick
I don't
Rubin.
know why.
Yeah, he's got like social anxiety disorder, and he's got battling all kinds of things, and he's not into music or acting. He's not into anything.
It's weird how some people that end up famous have that condition. It's like the worst condition you can have to be that person.
But he had it when he was a superstar too. So
I know. I mean, we
is
dealt with it with Ricky. Before we got him, he was doing interviews in New Orleans with a helmet on, so he didn't have to see people or they see him. I mean, that's kind of uncomfortable, man. It's rough. And by the way, I love McDaniel's honesty, because as much as he rap, right? They asked, I think it was Hal Habib's article where he asked him, well, if you had to have one band, and he goes, man, I'm a 90s rap guy, but rap normally isn't good live. And I right there, I go, this dude knows. This dude is the real deal, because as much as all of us may like rap, we all have to admit most of it live. Most of it, not all.
Most of it, not all.
Most of it is not very good. Like Jay-Z is great live.
Phenomenal live.
I know. I've seen him live. I know.
Yeah.
He's great live. You know what I'm saying? So
Outkast
there are some.
Live. Yeah.
Right. There are some that
Kendrick
are good live.
Is phenomenal live.
Who?
Kendrick Lamar. Kanye has been phenomenal live. I'm just telling you, how I am.
Lupe, hey, I saw Lupe Fiasco at Revolution Live, and he's phenomenal, and his freestyle is freaking off the chain, dude.
You would name a rapper that I don't like. I don't know why I don't like him. I should like him, but I don't like him.
Oh, he's good, dude. Lupe. How can you not like Lupe?
Because I don't like Lupe.
Good, dude. Lupe's good. And I had these great.
I all the way out of here.
I was right next to the stage, so I got a view of his girlfriend. Man, Lupe is scoring big too. He outkicked his coverage. Also, on top of that, bro. She was dancing on the side there on the stage, and she was half the show, actually. I'll tell you that. No, but he's really good. KRS-One, very good, Tack. I do like KRS-One. Anyway, so, and then he said, I'll go with Guns N' Roses or Metallica for his thing instead of the rap, because he was right about that. So I do like that. All right, so they talk a little bit about Tua, Greer, and McDaniel. Couple things that have come out of it. One, McDaniel feels that Tua's full talent has not been tapped yet. Yeah. Where do you stand with that statement?
I think it's fair. I think it's valid. I think it's true. The last coach, and not to his fault, because this is to get the early success out of Tua. They were heavy RPO, and I don't think that I think that's very limiting to what Tua can do. I do believe that Tua can be a West Coast quarterback in the Jake Plummer mold of it. I think he has the athleticism. I'd like to see him on rollouts. Now, the question is, can he play with his back to the defense to execute what you need to do to make that offense work? Can he play with his back to defense, turn around, and then read the field? And those are all things that we'll figure out. We'll learn as we go. But do I believe that Tua has not reached his full potential? Absolutely. Tell me when he's had good protection. Tell me when he's had a good run game. Tell me when he's had reliable, healthy receivers. An actual tight end that doesn't telegraph what they do. Tua. And I think Greer said it best, even though, Greer basically gave you the double negative about, I don't not think that he can be elite. We don't know. But he's 13-8 with a lot of stuff being thrown at him, a lot of stuff going against him.
Yeah, with crap.
And not much to work with. Like, okay, last year he had Jalen Waddle and Mike Gesicki, and name something else.
Well, he had Mike Gesicki half the time because the other half he was on the sidelines watching.
Yes,
So he didn't even have
which is what I continue to point out. Durham Smythe played more snaps than Mike Gesicki the last 2 years. Wouldn't it be nice to actually get a real good tight end that can threaten the field and block?
Yeah, but that's not. We've had this conversation.
And we'll continue to have this conversation.
I know that, but you make it sound like it's Biden printing bills and it's all over the place. No, that's not how it works. Okay, there's
right
few of those. It's like finding a 4-leaf clover. What do you mean?
No, I can name you about 4 in free agency.
You didn't pick up the Biden printing all the money the last couple of years? Trillions? Come on.
Bro, he's only been in office for 2 years. Like, what do you want him to do?
And he's been printing more money than, I don't know, since he's printed more money in a year and a half than all the way back to George Washington for the last 300 years. And our country hasn't been around that long.
I don't know the facts of it, but we also were dealing with a pandemic where people were out of work and you had to create jobs in an environment where people felt secure. And now we got a war going on and that's challenging the economy, and then the recession and the Bitcoin. Yeah, don't act like these aren't unprecedented times, because they are. They're weird.
Get it. Anyway, so I was talking to the folks because you were talking about back to the play as a quarterback, and they were talking about if Amari Cooper gets released.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that will help any quarterback, not just Tua, it's not just a Tua thing.
Yeah.
But if you want to play with your back to the defense and then you got to turn around, one of the things you're going to need is great route runners
and
guys that are precision route runners, that the timing is exactly like how it is in practice. And if you have a guy like Waddle, you can do that. If you have a guy like Amari Cooper, you can do that. So if you want to do,
I don't think Waddle fits that description, but I hear what you're trying to say.
Well,
Waddle isn't a precise route runner.
But Amari Cooper is my point.
Yeah.
As a slot guy, it's a little different.
Yeah,
the route running, because you're reading off the defense and reacting to which way, and you both have to react. So it's a little different. But I'm talking about the outside guys, and so I'm talking like an Amari Cooper. So if you want
in my dream world, they get a slot and move Waddle to at the outside.
Oh, like a Landry. Okay, I get what you're saying.
No, more. Yeah.
Well, that's a slot.
You can say that.
Slot.
Yeah, huh? I'm fine. I would rather a Cole Beasley than a Landry.
Okay, fine. Anybody. I'm just saying. I just threw a slot guy out there. I get what you're saying. I love what you're saying. But what I'm trying to tell you and tell the fans is, when you want to do certain things, if you want to run an RPO, well, then make sure you can run the ball. If you want to play with your back to the defense, make sure you have exceptional route runners that are going to run to the tee.
Or big body
receivers. But at least so when the quarterback does turn around and he throws it, it's like where it is in practice almost every time, that it's in the same vicinity. So that way, when he's planting and throwing and he's looking, he doesn't have much of an adjustment to make.
Couple things that come into play while you're talking about that.
Go ahead.
One, and I'm writing about this now. We don't know all the players who are going to be purged, who are going to be traded, who are going to be on the market. Do you want an Amari Cooper or do you want a Calvin Ridley? Do you want an Amari Cooper? Or do you want a Michael Thomas? Do you want an Amari?
Well, Calvin Ridley is not. Schefter's reporting that Cooper will be released.
Yeah.
The Ridley one is not a release. The Ridley one is a trade.
Yeah. But I'm talking about everybody that's going to be available to you. Let's put the whole free agent. Let's put what can we get at 29? What can we get on day 2? What can we get for free in free agency? What can we get for free based on not having to give up compensation picks? What can we get via trade? We got to put all that together come up with a plan, find out everybody's price, find out what everybody's issue is, find out how everybody feels about Tua, find out how Tua feels about everybody, and then come up with a plan. Right now, I don't think we know for certain who all is available. Like I mentioned the Buffalo slot receiver.
Beasley.
Yeah, Cole Beasley. Now,
and he's perfect here for Florida because he and DeSantis don't like vaccinations, so it's perfect. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Listen.
Go ahead. I went over your head also. Go ahead.
No, it went right. I caught it.
You got that one. No, you got that one.
I keep up with politics, pop culture. Cole Beasley's on the market. Would I trade a 4th round pick for Cole Beasley? Yes, but Buffalo is probably not going to trade him within the division. So, yeah. But what I'm saying is there are players like that who are going to be out there maybe playing for another team in another division where they're more willing to trade with you or do business with you.
Right.
There might be a team that actually acquires Russell Wilson and needs to purge cap space. So they're having a fire sale. So we have to wait to let things pan out and let the dust settle. The Amari Cooper is basically like, before you go out there and you start bidding on some of these big tier free agents, because I don't look at this free agent.
Hey, listen, I'm not saying to get him. I'm just using him as an example for what you said, playing your back to the defense. I'm saying is, if you want to do certain things, complement your team with the things you need.
Absolutely.
You want to run RPO? God damn it, run the ball. You want to play with your back to the defense? Make sure you have exceptional route runners. That's all I'm saying. And that's why
I've always said that because Devontae Parker is so gosh darn cheap, it makes no sense to cut him. You just take him to camp. And I still believe that to some degree, except for the fact, 2 things about Devontae Parker. We know he's not a great route runner. We know he brings down contested balls, but he's usually not open. That's just not.
Yeah.
He's not.
And by the way, you cannot go another year where Tua's receivers have the least amount of airspace between their defenders because I think we were the worst. If I'm correct,
I don't play
second worst or whatever.
Subjective things, but Devontae, one, you're going to miss about 6 games with him, or even play not 6 games healthy. Then he's not a good route runner. For me, I'm going to Tua and I say, give me a call on Devontae, or do you feel like we should use the $6 million he's using and upgrade it? And the same thing, where I stand on Mike Gesicki. Oh, Mike Gesicki's only back if Tua says I absolutely need him. And I personally believe that O.J. Howard would be far better in this offense for this team, for Tua, than a Mike Gesicki. But I'm in the minority here. We shall see. My thing is, and this is what I love about Brian Flores, what I love about Mike McDaniel, what I love about what Chris Greer said, and you know me because you know me. They are going to run the shit out of the ball.
Oh yeah, no, I know. That's why I'm excited.
I'm excited. Intent.
Tua's going to be a completely different quarterback this year. You'll see if they run the ball. Tua will be one hell of a quarterback, and people will see a completely different guy.
Now you got to get the back for it. You got to fix the offensive line. It's not going to happen overnight. They want to run a wide zone, which to me is the most complicated run scheme that you can run. But McDaniel has done it his whole career. Now it doesn't happen overnight, and you got to have the pieces for it. You got to have the backs for it, and I'm sure that's the priority this year. But yeah, it would benefit you if you had wide receivers who could block, if you had wide receivers who can run crisp routes, if you had wide receivers who could stay healthy. Could that be Amari Cooper? It could be, but it depends on what the price is. Like, what is the price that you put on Amari Cooper? Are you paying $12 million a year for Amari Cooper?
Yes. 12? That's cheap. No, I thought you were going to go 15, 16, 17, 12.
No, I don't think he's
right now I'm paying 12. Hell yeah, I'm paying 12.
I mean, you put the offer out there and you see what the market bears, and that's the thing, because I'm looking at the free agent class of receivers. It's not very good.
No, it's not good.
It's not very good. And you can get some things at a bargain. And here's the thing: what does Tua need? Does Tua need top shelf, or can he get guys who are efficient? And with Waddle, whoever comes here is probably going to be a number 2. So,
yeah.
Do you need another?
Although if you could bring Amari Cooper here, it's like a 1A, 1B. Because I don't
think Amari Cooper was 1A in Dallas. So
no. I like the Oklahoma kid better. Yeah, I like him better than Cooper. But that doesn't mean I don't like Cooper. That I think he's a terrific receiver.
Yeah. I'm curious to see. This is wide open. It's a new blueprint. It's a new approach. I know based on Steve Ross's history, they're going to go swing for the fence at the 5-star players. No matter what position, even if it's a position in need of J.C. Jackson, if he hits free agency and is an unrestricted free agent, which I doubt will happen, I expect them to swing for J.C. Jackson. That's just their way. But we'll see what happens when we see who gets the tag and who doesn't get the tag. We'll see who gets their deal and doesn't get their deal. We'll see who gets purged and doesn't get purged. Right now, the combine's so fresh, man. What happened was Dallas went out. They shopped Amari Cooper. They shopped a number of other players. They couldn't get anything done with the team because team probably knew they were going to cut him. And then
that's the thing. Everybody knows that Dallas has got all these cap issues. So they're like, dude, why am I going to give it up? I'd rather just try.
That's not the only Tank Lawrence is on the market. So it depends on what you need.
They're trying to trade DeMarcus Lawrence.
Man. Listen, they don't have they want to restructure. They don't have the cap space, and they basically,
but that's not one guy I would.
If he's on the market, if he's on the market, that's why you have to.
I know, but Dallas has had problems with defensive ends forever. They finally have one that's freaking awesome. You're going to get rid of the only other guy because all the other guys they've picked up are knuckleheads, idiots that they've taken chances on because they've all dropped in the draft or whatever, and they've all.
It comes down to the business of it. I believe I don't remember what he's on the books for, but they need him to lower his number.
Kansas is going to make more money this offseason because somebody else is going to pick him up.
No, they ain't cutting him.
No, I'm saying somebody will trade for him then.
Yeah.
If they there's no way Canner cuts the salary. He doesn't have to. DeMarcus Lawrence does his effing job, bro. Yeah. He gets the sacks and he opens it up for everyone else. You know what I mean? That's why, when you say Ogba you think is going to price himself out, I hope that's not the case. Because Miami needs to bring back Ogba in order.
What price you put on Ogba?
15.
What price you put? 15?
Yeah, I would say somewhere in that area, right?
I'm there. Yeah, I'm there. 15.
I would imagine it'll be 14 and 17, let's say. But I'm saying 15. But what the hell is the difference at that point? You can play with the signing bonus a little bit, and it's not. I don't. As long as there's not this incredible difference, and because you're in Florida, you still get that break of being the no tax state. So that kind of helps.
But you don't want to disrespect him if his agent's going out there and his agent's got 18 on the table.
That's what I'm saying. Then you come back with the 16.5, 17, and then you close it out because go to 18 and go to that tax state. It turns out to be the same thing. Come on back. Let's go. So you'll get it done. I think he's the most important guy you have to sign in free agency.
Absolutely. No question. I don't disagree with you.
I need it for Jalen, bro. Jalen Phillips will struggle next year if you have to have another young defensive end on the other side that nobody respects. And what that guy did, not in sacks, but in batting balls, it was impressive as hell, dude. I really like what that guy did. Plus, you know what? You stole money for 2 years as the Dolphins. You got yourself a bargain. You
gave him the highest contract that anybody was put out there.
But what I'm saying, it ended up becoming a bargain. So if you have to overpay a little bit, since you've underpaid the last 2 years, it kind of balances out, dude. It's not the worst thing in the world.
But then you also
He's
probably
worth it.
feel like you can go find another Rogba for the $15 million you pay, 2 years, $15 million. Like,
Well,
I think that's a sweet spot for them in terms of getting deals done.
Yeah. I mean, I hope they get that one done because I'd really like to see him, finish.
Continue to play, yeah.
Yeah, I think he did a really, really good job. All right, what are you working on the Sunset before I let you go, my friend?
I'm really breaking down a number of things, breaking down every unit and sort of forecasting where's the best value in terms of free agency, the draft, where, because you really got to figure out where the marriage is between the depth of the draft versus the quality of the free agents, the asking price of the free agents versus the availability of you getting somebody worth starting. For instance, the center spot, is trash both areas, free agency and the draft.
No, Ryan Jensen. Well, Ryan Jensen.
He's old, bro.
No, he's not. He's 30, isn't he? 31. You could get a couple years out of him. Yes, Tua needs it, bro. You got to admit, you're Mr. O-line guy.
I know I'm Mr. O-line guy, and Tua does need it. But I don't necessarily know if I'm paying money for a 30-year-old free agent. I'd rather go spend my 29th pick and get that Boston College guard and move him to center. I'm just thinking out loud.
I get it, but he's still a rookie, and God, I just
no. You listen. This scheme that you're running is injury prone. There's a lot of diving and movement. Do I want to take a chance on a 30-year-old holding up physically? Think about it. Give it some thought.
You make a really good point, by the way. And by the way, Miguel brings in DJ Chark. I love that kid.
I keep hearing his name. I
was a huge fan of him coming out of school.
I've never looked at his film, but yeah, I think that they are going to go. What's weird is.
By the way, go look at his film. 3 things you'll find: hands, toughness, route running.
Okay,
that's it. You'll love.
Why wasn't he more productive last year?
Where was he playing?
Jacksonville, under Bevel.
It's Jacksonville, rookie. Bevel
will know. Bevel will know.
Bevel is a quarterback's coach.
I mean, he was in the offense. He wouldn't, if he could have helped the quarterback, wouldn't he?
Bevel's the one that decided to throw the ball against the Patriots.
Let it go. Stop. Are you going to bring this up every time he struggles? Is that what you're going to do?
No. I'm telling you. What's he?
I know, but is that what you're going to do? Is that what you're going to do? Is that
no? Okay. I just told you.
I don't want to hear.
No, you're closing yourself out. You're not listening. You're not listening. He's a quarterback's coach. He's not the offensive coordinator. You don't have to worry about that.
He's a passing games coordinator. He's not
making the calls on game day. That's all you got to worry about, bro.
No, he's making the passing
game calls. Not making the calls on game day. Mike McDaniel's making the calls.
Listen, the way I was told it operated, and this is from people in the know. The way I was told it was operated, Mike McDaniel did not make the calls in with the 49ers. What happened was Kyle would go to him and say, Mike, I need a run here. What you got? And that's when he would call the plays. But it's a collaborative effort, and I do believe that it will be a collaborative effort here as well. It's not a...
but Mike will call the play. He'll decide what play is called.
Yeah.
Everyone can make a suggestion. The good thing is that Bevel is where he belongs, is what I'm trying to tell you. And that's what I love about what McDaniel did. He brought him in as a QB coach.
You don't
want Bevel as the OC. You want him as your QB coach. I don't want to
hear from you every time the offense struggles, the passing game struggles. He's the guy who do the ball at the goal line against
McDaniel's offense, dude.
Huh?
No, Bevel's a QB coach. He's not the offensive coordinator. I'm not going to go to Bevel. If the offense struggles, it's all on Mike McDaniel, my brother. He's in charge of the offense, period. It's his offense. He's the head coach. The buck stops with him, just like I did with Flo. I'm not changing. Everything fell with Flo. And this guy, everything will fall with Mike McDaniel. It's his job to fix the offense. If the offense is still broken by week 16 and we're complaining and they're 500, McDaniel failed. It's pretty simple, bro. That's it.
In
I don't
year
care
one,
who it
though,
is.
in year one, hold on. We got to set reasonable expectations because you
No,
can't
they've won
expect.
9 and 10 games the last 2 years, bro. You got to try to make the playoffs. They won 9 and 10 games with an offense that's Now go fix the offense and get us in the playoffs.
Oh, they didn't have no offense that was in 2000.
2 years ago, it was decent. Yeah, you're right. It was decent. It was
Yeah. Like put some respect on Shane Gailey's.
It still has to be better. It still has to be a better running game, and you know that, and I know.
No question.
So
No.
that,
Oh God. Yeah. How they didn't put more of an emphasis on the run game is criminal, but it is what it is.
right. So that's McDaniel's job. Fix the damn run game, make Omar happy, and make Tua the franchise quarterback that he is.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yes. Make Tua a friend.
Help Tua lead us to the Super Bowl finally. Damn it. Win the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Preferably in Arizona next year.
Okay. If they made it there with Jimmy Garoppolo, there's no reason why they can't make it there.
If they make it with Jimmy Garoppolo, they can win it with Tua. Okay? That's just so you'll know.
All right.
What are you working on the Sun Sentinel so folks can check you out?
I told you I'm working on position breakdowns, things that we learned at the combine, kind of give you a Cliff Notes version. Things that we learned.
All right, there you go. Follow him on Twitter at Omar Kelly. More importantly, as I tell you all the time, please subscribe to the Sun Sentinel and support all of the fantastic journalists that work in that newspaper. Omar, thank you, my friend. Have a great weekend. We'll talk on Monday.
Yeah, man. All right.
You got it. There he is, Omar Kelly.
You've been listening to the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins Report with Omar Kelly. For additions, home remodeling, or custom work, call Eric at 305-433-4843. EJDconstruction.com is the custom home builder and general contractor you can trust. 305-433-4843.
Oh, okay, I'm back. I thought we were in a break. All right. Anyway, let's see. Ooh, all right. I just got some good news. We are in the pit for Greta Van Fleet in Hollywood. We just got pit tickets today. They actually released some. By the way, they just released some more tickets for those of you. I don't know if you're interested, but they released more tickets and we were able to get into the pit. So we're in the pit for Greta Van Fleet in Estero. I will see you all in October at Estero for Greta Van Fleet, and then obviously at the Hard Rock. And we're in the pit also. So time to rock and roll with Greta Van Fleet in my birthday month. That's pretty good. So my birthday month, I get to see Iron Maiden and Greta Van Fleet. So that's what I call a win-win situation. Let's see. What do we have here? Go get Cooper, 6'1", 215, and 4.3 speed. He becomes our biggest weapon. One of them. I'm not giving Trevor Lawrence an excuse because nobody would defend Tua. I'm not Rome. You don't have to act like the idiots. Okay, Lawrence deserves a break, just like Tua deserves a break. If you don't have competence around you, it's not Lawrence's fault. You know, Urban Meyer didn't know what he was doing. That guy couldn't even get along with his own staff. Ooh, I wonder where that happened also. I wonder where was it? I know I've heard of some place. There was a football team that had a head coach that couldn't get along. Where was that? Had trouble getting along with players and his assistant coaches. Where was that? It wasn't Jacksonville. There was somewhere else that. Oh, yeah, Miami. Yeah, that's right. Yes, Brian Flores. Come on, man. Give him a break. All right. Sometimes you see Steve Young in Tampa Bay, and you understand what incompetence is. You know what I mean? So it's a matter of perspective. It's a matter of being logical and just looking around at the situation, and being fair. Earlier in the week, we'll have Joe Shad on tomorrow, and I love Joe Shad, but I had to call him out earlier in the week because he was like, well, no, they should trade for, what was it, Brady or Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers, but they've got to improve the line in the running game. And I go to him, so wait a minute, hold on a second. So you're crapping on Tua. You don't believe in Tua, but you're admitting they have no running game and no offensive line. So you're going to bring an elite quarterback in, and you want to give him the line and the running game, but not Tua. But yet you want to pass judgment on Tua without a line, without a running game, without coaching? So you got to be fair, man. Trevor Lawrence didn't have shit last year. It's not his fault. He's a rookie going into a league with men. This isn't high school or college where you're normally more talented than everybody else. In the NFL, everybody's talented. Everybody works hard. Every coach is really smart. Well, most of them. And they're really well prepared and they're experienced. And you know what? Those guys lining up, they're salivating. You know why they're salivating? They need to make that money because they got a wife, 3 girlfriends, 6 houses, 4 condos, 10 cars, 8 kids, and all kinds of issues. Okay? They got 99 problems, and football ain't one. So those people they're junkyard dogs. And you're a child coming out of a game in college, and you have no idea who you're lining up against. You're lining up against a grown-ass man that has several mortgages. Okay? Go talk to the guy that mines all day. Go talk to the bus driver. Go talk to the mailman. Those are tough people. Go talk to the teachers. Teach 200 kids a day, then they go home and take care of their houses. Those are badass mofos. And they work and they grind every day to keep their families alive. Well, guess what? That's what those football players are doing too. And when these youngins come out of college and they go there and they start dealing with men, that's where life, you get out of college and you've been playing beer pong every weekend with your friends and going to football games and getting high or drunk or all that stuff. And then all of a sudden, this isn't about your little classroom and getting your grades. This is about going to work every day and grinding. And now you're going up in the real world against people that are playing for keeps. They're not playing for a stinking B or an A. Life changes when you move from school to real life, and you all of a sudden you understand what cutthroat is. That the next person next to you is competing for that job. They're not competing for your little project to get a A in the science project or anything like that. Or, hey, let's see if we can win this debate today. And then we'll go smoke a bong. That's not life. Life is, you better go do your job, or if not, they're going to fire your ass because they'll find somebody else that's more productive. So, same thing. When you go from schooling to life and you realize, holy crap, I can't oversleep. I lose my job. Holy crap, I just can't, walk out of class, walk out of work. No, I got to be there. Oh my God, I got to take shit from this person every day. That's my boss. No, oh, teacher, I don't like him. I'll transfer to another class. That's not life. So when Trevor Lawrence and Tua and any of these young cats come into this league, they're coming into a league with a bunch of junkyard dogs, men that have real problems. And that anger comes onto the field, and they're going to take it out on your ass. And if you don't have the proper coaching and support, you're going to fail. But sometimes it's not your fault. And I don't blame Tua for the disaster that's around him. I don't blame Trevor Lawrence for the disaster that's around him. I don't blame Jordan Love, who hasn't played yet. I don't blame Hunter Long, who hasn't played yet. I don't blame Noah Igbenogany, who hasn't played because he's got 2 starters in front of him. I can't blame young players that haven't had enough of an opportunity or any opportunity or support. Let me judge you when I know you have support, you have coaching, you have every opportunity to succeed. I'm not judging the child that has no parents or a sibling that doesn't pay attention and can't help the kid do homework when they come home, because a lot of kids may need help. They just can't figure it all out by themselves. We all need a supporting staff in anything and everything that we do, right? You can't sell if the owner doesn't bring the products for you to sell, right? You can't teach if you're not given everything you need in order to educate your kids, and so on and so forth. And that's how it is in life. And your football team's not going to get any better if you don't have the right coaching staff, if you don't have the right front office, if you have, a dysfunctional situation. And when your head coach hates your quarterback and didn't want him drafted, you're never going to succeed. So blaming Trevor Lawrence or taking it out on Trevor Lawrence because somebody didn't give Tua the proper consideration, that makes no sense. That makes no sense. Damn it, left this thing open. All right, what do we have here? Thank God somebody understands. Bye-bye, Devontae. Swear these fans. Sometimes I also think targeting Berrios from the Jets needs to be a sneaky priority. He had a pretty good year for the Jets, by the way. You got to love Braxton Berrios, by the way. You have to love him. He was a late round pick, bounced around a little bit, and has fought through it all. And he had some nice moments last year. Ron says, I bought the dip. Good for you, dude. Because it was around 44, 45 Bitcoin. And now it's down to 41, 42. It's at 41.1 right now. It's been as low as 43.95 actually. So it's this is a good moment. Once it falls under 42, it becomes a buying 40, 41, 40, 39, 38, 37. And you just, if it dips there, then that's great. You know what I mean? So we'll see what ends up happening here. If what I do like about this, all right? Yeah, let me give you a little OK coin crypto moment here. This is what I do like about this right now. It's consolidated in this area now. And I think it's really important for it to consolidate a little while before it goes up. What you don't want is what I've told you before. You just don't want a parabolic move continuing, because there's always there's going to be a retraction. It's going to come back to you again. And I don't know how far the dip will go, 10%, 15, 30, but it's going to happen. But you have a better chance of continuing the climb if you're able to find a floor for a certain amount of time. And if you're going to continue to do this 42, 44 floor, which is kind of what they're working on. And remember, over the last couple of months, many times that this area has been the floor for this whole thing and a little bit of the resistance too. But right now you're trying to break this floor and make it make it a floor and not a resistance, because if we then go down and we go into the 39s and 38s and 37s, then all of a sudden this becomes now a resistance, not support. So hopefully this is what we want now, is that from here it stays sideways here for a couple of days, gives people time to accumulate. Great point to accumulate. And then it starts to take off again, maybe over 45 to 47 or 48, and you want it to find another floor again. That is a perfect world. But if it goes from 43, 42, 41, where it's at now, and it shoots up to 65, like it's done before, I guarantee you there'll be a fall back to 50. And it will not stay at 65 because it's just too hard. It needs to climb, because you're always going to have the people that are investing and then dumping. Because we're talking about not you and me, okay? Because I put in a little money and it's there. I'm not even pulling it out. Okay. My Bitcoin, I haven't touched my Bitcoin for over a year. I just put in, I don't take out. Okay. But the rich people, think about it. It's at 39. So I'm worth $100 million, right? So I can play with $1 million or two if I feel like it. So I'm going to put $2 million into Bitcoin at 38, 39. Shoots up to 55, 60. What do you think happens? You're making so much, you sell off. And then there'll be another dip, and then you'll do it again because you have that kind of money. The rest of us, what are you going to make? Put $100 in, what are you going to make? An extra 50 or 60? Yeah, it's not worth it. You're better off leaving it sit there and let it sit there through time because it's going to build big time down the line. 3, 4, 5 years from now, when it's at $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, that's why you're not going to it's not going to matter if you bought it at 42 or 38 or 37 or 43 or 36 or 44. If it's at 300,000, 400,000, who cares? You're doing fine. So keep DCAing. Not a financial advisor, just a guy that loves crypto, but keep DCAing and follow the pattern. Don't buy on the climb. Buy on the dip. Always buy on the dip. Never buy on the climb. Like that guy that reached out to me a couple of days ago when it was going parabolic goes, should I get in now? And I'm like, I'm just laughing like you should have been in already. Oh, man. Zoe Vegas says the media doesn't blame Trevor Lawrence either, but they sure do blame Tua. Not saying he's blameless, but he isn't the problem. The problem got fired. Amen to that. I'm with you, Zoe. I'm with you. Sebastian says, how do you think Welker is going to change Waddle's game? Do you think some of those short routes West will be good at in Waddle's arsenal? I think he can just help make him a better receiver and understanding defenses and things like that. But I think Waddle is naturally a stud, my brother. And I think bigger plays are coming because the offensive design will be better than what you've had in the past. And if you have a running game, it's just going to open everything up, including for Waddle. And I think you'll see Waddle on the outside too in this offense. Rafael Luciano, thank you, sir, for the love on the super chat. Says, Big O, do you know that the Dolphins are working on a new contract? They are trying to work on a new deal for X and trying to rework that. We will see if it does end up happening. That's the unknown, my friend. Right now, that's the unknown. That's the part we just cannot tell. Let's see, what else do we have here? Oh, I saw this, which was good. Did you guys see that the NFL is eliminating all of its COVID protocols now? I like it. It does feel like we're starting to get our lives back. You know what I mean? Which is really, really nice because, you know, we have a large portion of our, I think it's almost 70% are vaccinated. So obviously it's helped out immensely. And it looked like as it morphed, it got weaker. And that last one wasn't nearly as strong as the other ones. So that's been good. It seems like hasn't been morphing into other ones, which is fantastic, which is good. I think less and less of us are having to deal with restrictions, which is really nice, man. God, I tell you, it was a rough couple of years, but it's nice to get through it, and it's good to get kind of your life back to normal again, and we get to travel. I haven't gone to Disney World with the wife in a while because I know they've opened, but I told my wife I'm not going there again until I'm free. Like I don't have to worry about a damn mask ever again. You know what I'm saying? And I don't wear my mask that much anymore. It's rare. I mean, the place has to require it. Like on our trip that, the plane required it. Okay, I'll wear it. Restaurant required it. Okay, you need the vaccine. Good. Here's my thing. Whatever. I don't care. I'll follow the rules. It doesn't bother me. I don't care. But in most places now, it looks like we're kind of getting past that. You know what I mean? Which is really nice to have all of that. And hopefully Most players probably are vaccinated. And hopefully this year we deal with less people missing time, with all of that. And hopefully we'll deal with businesses having, less employees missing time due to COVID, because that was how many of you out there that are running businesses, man, you have struggled these last couple of years because of all the COVID issues, man. So when I saw that the NFL is eliminating it and we're watching it amongst us, that it's kind of going by the wayside, thank the Lord. Although I will say this, I don't feel bad for me or most of you. The people that I feel really bad for are the kids in high school the last couple of years, that their experience, whether they couldn't be in school or when they were in school, there was no socializing and all that stuff. I couldn't imagine it, because I keep thinking of my life and the blast I had at Hialeah High and the amount of fun that I had at Hialeah High for 3 years there, okay, that I can't imagine that if I had those restrictions, how it would have changed the way, my junior and senior years went and all the things that we did. It would have changed the complexion of my entire experience of high school. And that's where I feel terrible for those kids. Because, man, I milked it, boy. I had as much fun as you could have in high school without being a criminal. Let's put it that way. Okay. Without being a delinquent, without being like, a terrible dude or anything. Just fun. It was back Hialeah High I can only speak in the early 80s. Okay. I can only speak what I experienced in the early 80s, but an absolute party town, and Hialeah High was an absolute party school. So I can't imagine my life in this way. It would have been just ruined. As Straff Sterling says, go T-Breads. Rennie LeBeau says, Hialeah High. Now, Shelby says, all the kids got screwed. Yeah, I know, man. Those are the people I feel for the most in our experience here in this country during the pandemic. I feel terrible for the kids because that ruined their junior and senior years. Absolutely ruined it. Terrible, man. Big O, is Agba a werewolf? Hell yeah, he's a werewolf. Comes around that corner, chases down that quarterback, sacks him, pressures him, or bats the ball down. That, my friend, is a werewolf. Yes. And hopefully Jalen Phillips had werewolf-like moments last year. Hopefully he turns into a full-blown werewolf this year. Ian from Brooklyn says, high school was big fun. It was for me, man. I can only speak for myself, but Hialeah High in the early 80s was an absolute party, dude. Absolute party. I could not tell you, I don't know how it is nowadays. I don't know how it's been the last 20 years, but I can tell you how it was in the 80s. And we had an absolute blast. Now, life was different in those days than it is now. Forget about the pandemic. I'm just saying life overall. Jamie says, Big O, Mexico has a big Dolphins fan group. Oh, hell yeah. This is 100% right. Those situations we lived in our childhood also gives us accountability. Now, nothing is anybody's fault. Yeah. You're right. Rosendo says, 100% agree. As a teacher, it was hard to see my students not enjoy their graduation experience. Yeah, I can't imagine it, Rosendo. I feel so terrible for kids nowadays that had to experience that the last 2 years. Yeah. That's a rough one, I got to tell you. Panthers. No need to worry, right? Last night, they took care of business, got a little physical and everything against the Senators. Their 3-0 win. Mason Marchand had the goal and the assist. Horny, we got a little horny last night. Hornquist got the goal and the assist. Bob had only 18 saves. They played like a pissed off group that said, "No, enough's enough." Yesterday, that was good. That was really good to see. I'm not worried about the Heat. Not worried about the Panthers. I wasn't worried about the 3-game skid. As I told you guys, you got to have a valley during the season. All it's been is a blast for the Panthers. So you had a little bit of a valley now. You had your 3-game losing streak. It's over. Tomorrow they'll take on Detroit, 6 o'clock. Get it done. Move on. By the way, tomorrow, Sammy Hager's at the Pompano Beach Amphitheater, 8 o'clock. And 3 Dog Night, for those of you close to Immokalee there at the Seminole Casino in Immokalee. I've never been to the Seminole Casino in Immokalee. How is that place? I've almost gone and driven there for a concert. Okay? And I know the singer for 3 Dog Night is still there. I'm forgetting his name now, damn it. And he still sounds good, by the way. I saw him at Pompano Beach Amphitheater about 4 years ago. And he still sounds good. I can't remember his damn name now. Brain farting. But he still sounds pretty damn good. And he's in his 70s, I believe. And he looks good, too. Okay? That's the other thing. Like, you'll see him and you'll go, damn, dude. That guy's in his 70s. And the pipes are still pretty strong, which normally you kind of like when you go see Joan Jett, you'll see that the age, which is normal, the voice isn't as strong as it used to be. So there you go. Tuesday, Dropkick Murphys at Revolution Live. Do not be in the front of the stage for that concert. Those maniacs, okay, will be doing what's that stuff called when they're bumping into each other? All that craziness, they'll be doing that. Be careful. Be careful. All right, let's take a quick break. Let's get ready for the man, the myth, the legend that is Cameron Wolfe and the Fort Lauderdale Police Department, Miami Dolphins, and NFL report.
We unleash the Wolf Pack as we get the latest in the NFL and Miami Dolphins with our Fort Lauderdale Police Department Pro Football Report with insider Cameron Wolfe. The Fort Lauderdale Police Department is an equal opportunity employer. The department is now hiring uncertified and certified police officers. Go to flpdjobs.com. Here's NFL insider Cameron Wolfe.
Dropkick Murphys, exactly. Mosh pitting, they will be. Get out of there. Those people are maniacs. Anyway, a man that is never caught in a mosh pit is Cameron Wolfe. Correct, Cameron? You don't do the mosh pitting stuff, right?
Oh, no, that's definitely not my vibe.
I stand there and I watch him and I'm like, really? What is wrong with you people? Come on, man. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I don't understand that one. That one's kind of weird. Anyway, your impressions on your meeting with Mike McDaniel this week and talking a little Tua.
Yeah, I think that, you can see why a lot of people were excited about him. Like, he's got a different way of communicating. And so that's what I'm most excited about. Like, you can talk about how he looks. He doesn't look like an NFL head coach. But like he's uniquely himself. He's witty. I'll tell you guys this. I flew on the same flight as him here to Miami. So we get off the plane and someone makes a comment about him having Louis Vuittons on as far as gear. And he jokes about how he wears things because, how he looks. And it was like, I couldn't tell if he was serious or if he was joking. But that's who he is. And so I'm enjoying to get to know him. As far as the Tua element of it, they've had full support on him, which is all I think a lot of people who are on the Tua non-crew have wanted, So I am excited to see what offense they put together around him. He's talked a lot about how he fits within that 49er scheme. So they already, put up a lot of cut-ups. They've watched a lot of tape, and they feel like, they've got an idea of, hey, how can we make this dude great? So that part of it, as a guy who thinks that Tua needs more time to develop, needs more time to get his opportunity, that gets me excited because this guy's had 4 or 5 OCs in the last 4 or 5 years. So, if this system is truly the right one for him, then maybe we see the Tua that we thought we were going to see coming out of the draft.
Yeah, I think this is part of the discussion that we've had for the two-anons and the non-two-anons that,
Right.
we kind of feel that, if you actually give him a running game and real coaching, that all of a sudden you will put him in a position like he had in Alabama, that he had the support staff that he needed in order to succeed. We were just talking about this. Like some guy was like, well, I'm not giving Trevor Lawrence a break if they don't give Tua a break. And I'm like, well, that's not the right attitude. That's not right. Neither guy got the support they needed. That's why they didn't play up to,
Exactly.
par. They have the talent. We watched them at a high level in college play at a high level. So it's not like these guys can't do it, but they're not going to be able to do it if you have a crappy environment around them. You know what I mean? It's like I've used the analogy before. So you're going to have a kid and not support your kid, not love your
Right.
kid. I
Right.
mean, give me a break, dude. You're gonna buy a dog or adopt a dog and just throw it in the corner and not give it any love. I mean, find out how those relationships are going to turn out without you, nurturing. Everything has to be nurtured, dude.
Yep.
Everything that you do, your relationship with your wife or husband has to be nurtured. Your relationship with players has to be nurtured.
Yep.
Offense, defense, corporate level. You have to nurture sponsorships, people that you work with. Everything needs nurturing, dude. If there isn't anything and there's no connection, then nothing will grow. And I think at least now we can say they're actually going to do it the right way this time, and then we can all make the proper determination on where this young man stands.
Absolutely. I think there's value in them coming out and being very clear in their support, their confidence, their trust, their belief. Like, we dealt with it all last year of the vagueness of, are we going to get Deshaun Watson? Are we not? What's the situation with Tua long term? What's your belief in him? I think they wanted to make it very clear. They've leaked, through what came out in the media and then what Mike McDaniel said in recent weeks. And then even Chris Greer, this week speaking with reporters and saying, hey, the door's shut on Deshaun. Like, I think that was something that we probably thought based on how they said it with Tua, but saying it clearly, like putting the words on paper and going on record with that, that's something that I think will help Tua. Like, I know for a fact, talking to people in his camp, they felt like it impacted him last year. And we thought that, but to hear it actually, the reality, like, hey, we listen to this stuff, and he listened
Bro,
to this
look
stuff.
at
And
look at his face at the end of the year in press conferences with you
exactly,
guys. He
exactly,
was
and
already serious. His hair was almost like disheveled and stuff.
yeah,
He wasn't the guy that was happy-go-lucky wearing what's it called? This guy's jersey, a Fitz's jersey,
right,
joking
right,
around with you guys, all that.
yeah, it's
He was
exhausting.
worn out, dude, by
Yeah,
the end of the year.
it's exhausting, and I guess for context for people, because I know Flores and his team, they always had like, hey, the ignore the noise. That was the narrative there. Um, once 1 minute, that was a narrative there, and so because of, yes, 1 minute, please.
He's doing
So
an interview. Leave him alone. Let him finish
because
the
that
interview.
because that was the narrative there about ignoring the noise. That's the coach's mindset. But for Tua, you walk in a building and TVs are on in the cafeteria, and whether it's ESPN or us on NFL Network, every day you hear, are the Dolphins trading for Deshaun Watson? Dolphins are front runners of Deshaun Watson. And if you look at the stats, whether it's Tua's stats, whether it's the team stats, 1-7 before the trade deadline, 8-1 after the trade deadline. It's a clear difference. So I think that you're going to see a more confident and trusting Tua. And so, Chris was asked the question, Chris Greer, can he be elite? I'm not sure if he can be elite or not, but you know what? We're going to see the best chance of it, with a team that puts him in the system to do that, and a team that believes in him. So I'm looking forward to, like, I rarely get excited about OTAs and minicamp, but I am looking forward to seeing some of these early elements of what the offense looks like around Tua, and really what Tua looks like. I know he's already started working out this offseason, And so year 3, you have the freedom of mind, no Watson, no trade. This is your team. What type of jump does he make personally? And then what type of jump does Mike McDaniel and his staff help him get as far as coaching?
All right, I'm going to ask a multi-layered question because it is kind of a screwed up situation and whole thing. But now it's the past, obviously. Now it's become the past. But still, the elements involved in all of this. So I want to know what you're thinking, because this is something that kind of plays with me a little bit and a lot of Dolphin fans. So you saw when you talked to him just a couple days ago, Chris Greer put the kibosh on it and said, Watson's story is dead. We're not going with it.
Right.
Okay, so now, was this all driven by Flo, that he was forcing the issue? Because if there was real need by Watson, by other people in the building, then why wouldn't that still be alive? And why would if the owner really badly wanted Watson, why would he change his mind now all of a sudden and just let them have their way and say, okay, no, you guys, want to, and you want to build around it, I'm with you guys. I understand. Okay, the Watson thing's in the past. So how do we look at this? And then the other side of it, and it's kind of what we just talked about a little bit, is did they just say, all right, listen, let's put this Watson stuff aside. Maybe Greer wanted him. Maybe the owner wanted him. Maybe Flo also wanted him, right? But they said, hey, look, man, we're going to keep polluting the waters. This guy's got a bunch of legal issues. We can't get him anyway, right? Plus, they're going to ask for so much. We can't have this shit over his head again. So let's go get our coach and let's commit to Tua, and let's do it publicly. So that way everything's out there and the kid's focused and we can get the best out of the kid and we don't deal with this situation anymore. So how do we look at it? Was it driven by Flo? Was it driven by everybody? But now that Flo's gone, they're going to say, well, we're going to go in this direction because of the legal issues. Or was it that these guys really never wanted Watson? They really wanted to focus on Tua, but the head coach is the guy that still won't admit to this day that he never wanted Tua. You know what I'm saying? Which that to me is where Flo loses all credibility, because it's so obvious he never wanted Tua and he still won't even admit that. But how do you look at this whole mess after you saw Chris Greer put the kibosh on the whole Watson story?
So, Big O, there's a few things I've learned like over the last month or two. One thing is that obviously Flo did want Watson. That was a priority of him. He was one of the main people who was driving that train. But I also know that he wasn't the only person in that building who wanted Watson. So a lot of times, like you mentioned, there is a little bit of revisionist history. You want to say, hey, oh, it's Flo. Flo definitely wanted Watson, but he wasn't the only one. They were going to make a decision like Watson without everybody and at least most people in that building on board. So there has been a change in narrative. And I thought it was interesting hearing Chris Greer talk. He kept talking about how Mike, we asked him why are you out on Watson now? Why Tua now? And his reasoning was Mike McDaniel looked at the tape and feels like we can maximize Tua. So it was interesting that he talked about how the head coach's perspective may have had an influence on their perspective. Now, I do know in the interview process, they were pretty clear with candidates that they wanted to keep Tua and they wanted to keep their defensive coordinator led by Josh Boyer. Those were two things that they were very clear and transparent about. So, whether it was Chris Greer, whether it was Steve Ross, they had some sort of conversation before they went about the coaching process and said, hey, we decided that we're going to go all in on Tua in year 3. So I don't even know if it's as much the uncertainty with the legal situation as much as them saying, hey, look, we're going to try to maximize this kid. We drafted him with the 5th overall pick, and they changed their mind. So Flo definitely being gone is a big part of why Watson is not here and won't be here. But he if you say, hey, Flo is the only person who wanted Watson, you have a naive view of that building.
All right. And was it both the owner and Greer, or what's your hunch tell you? It was only the owner, it was only Greer, or was it everybody?
I think there was different levels of desire based on whether it was the owner, Greer, Flo. I think Flo was high in that spectrum. I think Steve Ross, the interesting part about Steve Ross is and it could be a positive or a negative, but he listens to people around him. So based on maybe who's communicating with him and who he trusts at a particular time, that may be his view on Watson or Tua. So I would, from what I kind of understand, maybe Ross's view have evolved over time. Like maybe at one point he was like, "Hey, let's go get Watson," and now he's fully on the Tua brigade. So I think that when you look at this Dolphins team, they decided we got to be united and what we are. So they're putting out this front, that Tua's the guy. But I will tell you, I think that the part they're not saying is he's the guy in 2022. I don't think they're committing long term yet because they want to see. So although you're not going to see Watson here, you're not going to see Russell Wilson. I also think there is some pressure on Tua this year to be the guy, because if not, then I could definitely see them back in the quarterback market next year.
No, I mean, listen, this is the ultimate break for him. They fired the coach for him, and they went and got a guy that, those of us that argue for Tua say, dude, give him a running game and an offensive line, and you'll see a different quarterback. Well, this is the coach that supposedly knows the running game and offensive line and all that. So this is the panacea to the problem, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's fix it. And if it's fixed, then the other thing is supposed to fall into place, which is Tua and the offense. So if that happens, then we all know that the puzzles and the pieces fell together. And if they don't, and you are running and you are blocking, but the quarterback isn't doing his part, then we all got our answer. And us chewing on people will then be, we have to admit we're wrong on this one. We have to say, hey, the kid's not the guy. So we'll see. I mean, they did what they needed to do now in order to find out if you have a quarterback or not. So
indeed,
now it's time to find out. It's time to find out.
That's what this season will be about. Is Tua the guy or is he not?
Who's the free agents you're afraid will not make it and will not be back? Key free agents.
Yeah, I think they're going to have an interesting conversation about Mike Gesicki. I think that he either gets the franchise tag or he's gone. I think that Chris Greer's, made clear they're not really close on a long-term extension. So, and I do think there would be some wait and see period as far as if he's a fit in this system. So, I think they're going to have an interesting decision. It's $11 million for that franchise tag, so it's not expensive, but this is supposed to be a really robust tight end market. So I think there's going to be this could go down to the deadline. I think he's the only option. They won't put the franchise tag on Agba, but they could put it on Gesicki. And so do you let him test the market and see if you can get him back, or do you just put the franchise tag to make sure you conclude him? So I think that's going to be the big one to watch. Emmanuel Agba obviously is the other one. They are closer. From what I understand, Agba wants a little bit, closer to maybe Trey Hendrickson money last year. What he got last year, which was like, $15 million a year, something in that range. And, it's a tough conversation with Agba because I think he's a really good player. He's a good person. He's got 9 sacks in back-to-back years. Is he a true number one pass rusher? Probably not. He's probably more of a good number two. What do you pay a really good number two? And as always, in free agency, those numbers get expedited. Good players.
The only problem the only problem I have is we can't measure him only with the sacks. We got to give him a lot of credit for the pressures and the batted passes, dude.
And he's a good run defender too. And he's a good fit
actually does a good job there.
And so that's a really good point, though. And for a team that runs as much man coverage as they do, and like I've told you guys before, I think they want to run even more man coverage this year. You got to have pass rush. So Jalen Phillips was a nice pick, but he can't be the only one. You need another guy consistently on that edge. So if it's not Agba, it's got to be someone else. So I think that there is going to be they really want Agba back. It's going to be interesting to see Drew Rosenhaus as his agent, how pressed Agba is in his team to seeing what is out there on their market. Because, like I said, they're not going to franchise tag him. I don't know if the Dolphins go to 15. So if they're trying to wait out for that, do they test the market and then come back to the Dolphins, or can they get something done before free agency? I think those are the two main ones, obviously, to watch. But one other thing, I'll kind of let you jump in after this, but I expect them to have some turnover from guys who are not free agents. I think they'll redo some of that wide receiver room. Devontae Parker is going to be a very interesting question for them because he's a guy who's had trouble staying healthy. He's been here for forever. But do you
Take
bring him
less
back?
or you gone? Take
Right.
less or you gone?
And he doesn't even have a big contract, but I think that Michael McDaniel's going to have to see how he fits in the scheme. He's a slower kind of possession jump ball receiver. I'm not sure how many they want of those on this team. And if you're keeping Mike Gesicki, I don't know if that you bring Devontae Parker back. It may be one or the
Great
other.
point.
And Preston Williams is another guy that I don't think they tender him. So you're looking at a complete overhaul in that room. Mac Hollins probably comes back if they can get him on a good deal. Jalen Waddle's obviously there. But I don't know if there's anybody else in that receiving room. Lynn Bowden's under contract, but there's anybody proven in that receiving room that you say for sure is back next year. So you might be looking at getting 2 or 3 more receivers between free agency and draft.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. One more thing before I let you go. He said all the right things with X, but he still kind of left it open that, we're going to try to work out a deal. My anticipation is that he's going to be here. I'm kind of paraphrasing the way Chris Greer phrased it, but he did leave himself open. But it does seem like there's a little more dialogue. And what I don't see, what I saw last time was I'm not seeing a publicly bitter player right now sending messages and things like that. So that might tell me that maybe Cantor and the front office, maybe there's some understanding and there's some kind of progress, let's just say.
There has been progress, and I think they've had a lot of conversations about it. They really want X to be there. He was a part of the process when they brought in Sam Madison and Patrick Surtain after GA and Charles Burks left. So I think they want X to be a part of that picture now. It was interesting to hear Greer say that, hey, we made a promise to him, and so we're going to kind of live up to that. That to me sort of gives the leverage back to X and his team. If you've said publicly, hey, we're going to give him this, now X's team can ask for the world. So
Chris is not a bullshitter.
He's not.
I mean, Chris,
and what he says is what he
if he actually told you something, he's a pretty stand-up guy from his reputation.
Exactly.
So
and I appreciate him being straightforward, but I also wonder how much that shifts the leverage because what's one thing if you're saying, hey, I'm gonna give X a few more million. He's set to make 13.7 this year, which is like I think 6th or 7th among corners. But the top of the market is Jalen Ramsey, Marshawn Lattimore getting 2022. So is he aiming for that? I think I know for a fact he's aiming for those numbers. He would like to get $20+ million a year on a new deal. So is that something the Dolphins are amenable for? Or are they thinking more?
What's Byron Jones making?
Byron Jones is making a tad under 15 this year.
Okay, so he'll make around 17, 18, I bet you.
And so that
he'll make Ramsey, but he'll make a couple more than Byron, and then that's it, and he'll be happy.
Right, and that might be the middle ground. So does X and his team want to take that, or do they push? So I don't think we're fully there yet, but I think the conversation, like you mentioned, of whether it ends up 17, 18, or if it's closer to 2022 is probably where they're at this point.
Yeah, and I think because we're not hearing any animosity or anything, and no social media posts or anything like that, I think there's already been some numbers thrown around, and they're kind of in the ballpark already. So that's why I think, why stir anything up now? We're really close. Let's not screw it up. We'll be fine. And supposedly, from what I've been told, X actually likes it in South Florida. Like he likes being in South Florida. Yeah. So that's a positive for the Dolphins too. At least that's what I'm told. I don't know. Tell me.
Indeed.
All right. Good stuff. By the way, how about your teammate joining this team on Wednesdays now? How about that?
Absolutely. I just ran into Ian a bunch here in Indy at the Combine. So that will be fun. We're taking over the landscape, Big O. Bringing all the big guns here, having the best content and reporters here on the show. So Ian will bring some really good content, and I'm excited to get my teammate here on the team we're building down here.
I've known Ian for over 15 years when he was with the Dallas Morning News, when he was a Cowboy insider. Right. And then obviously he became, the bomb now with you on the NFL Network. And so I've known him for a long time. He's a really, really good dude. And so we're not stopping there. maybe adding some other national insiders and other sports coming up. So that's the next step. Yeah, we're already dominating locally, right? So now we got to add a couple on the national side to kind of complete the entire thing. That way the listener, Cam, gets every day, dude. They got an insider for the Heat. They're going to have an insider for the Heat, and they're going to have an insider for the Dolphins or two. So every day they tune in, dude, they know that this show is going to bring it for them every single time. And nobody does this. So
absolutely. 100%.
You're gonna bring it. Appreciate you, man. Safe travels, because obviously they're about to kick your ass out of there. So safe travels.
Yeah. Next thing I know, I'm gonna get security coming here. They told me I got until 1 in the room, and I guess what is it 1 now? So they came a little early. So
bro.
If you don't hear from me in a couple days, security came and kicked me out, and
scream at them, tell them I'm half Cuban, and then they'll understand that like we're really late for everything. So he's Cuban, no, check out for him is 2:45, not 1 o'clock. That's it. All right, Cam, much love, brother. Appreciate you.
All right, appreciate you, my man.
You got it. There you go, baby. Cameron Wolf and our Fort Lauderdale Police Department, Miami Dolphins, and NFL report.
This has been the Fort Lauderdale Police Department Pro Football Report with insider Cameron Wolf. The Fort Lauderdale Police Department is an equal opportunity employer. The department is now hiring uncertified and certified police officers. Go to flpdjobs.com.
All righty. We love it. Lots of things going on in the world of sports. You know what? Let's we talked about this about a week and a half ago. And the NFL has got a team up for sale, and we talked a little bit about this, and now it's coming to a head. Why don't we get into it with our KSDT Sports Business Report? All righty, KSDT, baby. They do it all for your personal business, crypto, by the way. So make sure you call my friends at KSDT, 305-670-3370, KSDT CPAs. All right, so the NFL is in the middle now of watching another team up for sale after Pat Bowlen passed away, and the Bowlen family and the trust have the team. Now, the NFL, and this is kind of like a multi-layered situation. One, they need the sale to go a little smoother than it did for the Carolina Panthers. And so there were issues, and I'll explain it to you. In 2018, the Carolina Panthers only crossed the finish line because billionaire David Tepper stepped up with his bid of $2.275 billion, which was lower than the investor-heavy offer by Ben Navarro and Alan Kestenbaum. The NFL wants to avoid a repeat of that paradigm with that sale of the Denver Broncos, informing the trust that is selling the team that preliminary offers need to be fully capitalized according to a finance source. So the difference is the Broncos are expected to ask between $3.5 to $4 billion for that team. Now, that price tag means that the prospective buyer might need an investment group, meaning the NFL will push for a speedy capital raising stakes on added urgency. The league will allow $1 billion of acquisition debt, but that still means the buyer roughly will need $2.5 billion in cash at minimum. So you got to have at least $2.5 million liquid. It can't be a whole bunch of dudes and they're all putting in a little bit, and then they're loaning it off of debt or loaning it off of something else in order to put it. No, it's got to be cash, dude, that you've got in your bank account. You're not getting a loan. Remember, we talked about this a couple weeks ago, how the problem, like what we're watching with the Marlins, they've got 15 owners. They don't have one dude with incredibly deep pockets. That's the problem. They don't have one family member with incredibly deep pockets. They don't have one woman with incredibly deep pockets. And you cannot run teams this way. If you don't have the group, I'm talking the family or the man or woman by themselves that can practically carry the team, you've got the wrong owner. That person's not rich enough. So the other part of it is the diversity part of it. Commissioner Goodell says we would love to see a diverse owner of the team. Whether that's a person of color or a female or a black man, we think that would really be a positive step for us and something we've encouraged. And one of the reasons we've reached out to find candidates that are willing to do that. The Broncos are selling the team, not the NFL. We would love to approve rights, but I think we'll be very clear, and we've already been very clear with the Broncos. The diversity is something we would seek to have in ownership. Now, 2 prospective minority owners identified. Media magnate Byron Allen, which I did not know he was that rich. Good for you, Byron Allen. Awesome for you. And venture capitalist Robert Smith. Not the dude that sings for The Cure, by the way. Okay. So we'll see. Another one mentioned is Greg Penner, the chairman of Walmart and founder of investment firm Madrone Capital. Jeff Bezos is also in the mix from Amazon, and obviously he's got more than enough money. But that's going to be the challenge now. One, it's finding the owner that has the liquid $2.5 billion in cash to have out of the $3.5 to $4 billion that you've got to pay for the team. And then the question is, will a minority owner or owners step up to become the first owners or second, minority owners behind Shad Khan? I know we've got a couple and Mrs. Ford and all that, but still, it would be nice if something like that happens. So it's kind of a 2-prong attack. One, to find the right owner, the right rich owner. And then the question is, can you also add diversity to your ownership group? Because that's the only way your league will become more diverse, when you have more diversity starting at the top. That will allow more diversity all throughout the organization. I commend Stephen Ross in that sense, because you walk through that organization and it is as diverse as possible. All right. That, my friends, is your KSDT Sports Business Report.
This has been the KSDT Sports Business Report. KSDT CPA is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax and accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit online at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
There you go. KSDT, baby. Give them a ring. They are one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. And I'm telling you, call them. And if you're a crypto person like I am, they also have a crypto department. We've got our taxes due here right around the corner. KSDT CPAs. We'll take care of you. Over 16 partners, 150 in the staff, over 10,000 clients. They are the group you want to call, and tell them that you heard it here on the Big O Radio Show. 305-670-3370. That's 305-670-3370 for KSDT. All right. I just need to get behind the KSDT race car and speed around all over the place. That I need. That would be good. Speaking of KSDT and the crypto department, Bitcoin right now is just over $41,000. Denver has to pay Elway's bar tab. Oh, that's just wrong. That's just wrong. Cam Wolf is so good. It's awesome that he's on the Big O Show. Thank you. Thank you. It's awesome that he's on the Big O Show twice a week. Okay. Marlins are a crap show. Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, I thought they were gonna, try to spend. I told you guys, this was the offseason to find out if they were committed or not. If they were committed, they would spend, and if they're not spending, they're not really committed to winning. Unfortunately, that's just the reality. Tony Segala says, Big O, since you're working with the NFL Network insiders, why don't you add Kay Adams? You need to add a hottie to your crew. appreciate it. Kay Adams does a good job. But maybe we'll bring her on as a guest down the line. I think I'm pretty happy with the group of insiders we have now. I don't think anybody comes even close to what we have and what we're working on too, on top of all of that, because we're not done. We still have 2 more insiders for the Canes that we're waiting to add. And we have another insider that I'm in the middle of talks with that hopefully will get done very shortly here. And we'll be adding another insider. So we're happy, man. We're happy. And I think listeners should be happy because, when it's all said and done, I would imagine the next couple of weeks it'll all be done. You guys will have a Canes, Dolphins, and Heat insider every single day on the program. Anybody else do that? Anybody even come close to that? No. So, yeah. We'll be tomorrow, by the way, at Caneswear between 11 and 1 p.m. We'll be broadcasting live, Sean Stanley and myself. So come on out and join us. Ira Winderman will join us at 11:30. Joe Shad will join us at 12:30. Okay? Mickey, did you see this? Mickey Loomis? He was saying that he's hoping that Jameis Winston is an option for us. We hope we're an option for him. And, that sounds weird because all you do is think of 33 interceptions with Jameis Winston. But last year, did you know he completed 59% of his passes for 1,170 yards, 18 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions? That's a little over 5-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. He played very well, but that was under Sean Payton. Sean Payton got Jameis Winston to play very efficient football until he got injured. Now, if you're the Saints, there aren't a lot of options, so you're kind of stuck in a rock and a hard place. But the intriguing part about it is no one's going to argue that Jameis Winston lacks talent, right? Nobody. He lacks zero. He has all the talent you could ever want. Size, arm strength, all of that. It's a matter of consistency and playing smart, right? He's played a lot of stupid football. He gives the ball away. He didn't do that last year for the short amount of time that he played, but that was Sean Payton, which would have turned out to be one of the great reclamation projects of all time. If this was the trajectory and he ended this way, it would have been such a great story for Jameis Winston. Now it still becomes an unknown. You look at it, you say it's only a couple of games. It was probably flukish. He's never been that efficient. How can he ever be like that? That's what's going to go on. So it's interesting that the Saints are in a position. I mean, what are you really going to count on Taysom Hill? Give me a break, dude. Come on. Taysom Hill is not a real quarterback. Come on. But Jameis Winston, it's an interesting and twisted kind of story, right? But if you're objective about it and give him the benefit of the doubt in the sense of how he played last year, did the light go on? Was it more Sean Payton? You're going to find out this year, because whether he plays for the Saints or somebody else, he's going to have to take the field again and see if he can be, and see if he learned from all of this, be interesting. But I saw that story of Mickey Loomis and Jameis Winston. I was, damn, it's kind of intriguing, I got to say. What else do we have here on the program? March 10th, by the way, you can see Foreigner at Pompano Beach Amphitheater. I saw that. I think if I'm free that night, I think I'm going to go. Tony says, come on, Big O, eye candy. All right, Tony, you got a business? You want to sponsor it? Let's go. I'll call her and I'll set it up, and your business pays for her appearance every week. Want to do that? Let's go. Back it up, baby. Back it up. Back it up. Because nothing's done for free. Nothing. So let's go. Let's see. Juan Paulo says, you got fired from 560 because of the way you are with everyone you're around, thinking you're better than everyone else around you and you don't respect nobody, but that's on the radio, not in person. I pretty much respect everybody, Juan. When you are disrespectful, then that's when, that you get unleashed. That's it. And you think you're hurting my feelings because, you got fired from QAM? Do you not think I'm better off right now? Seriously. Like, I'm doing the show from my house, my own studio. We've got about, 15, 18 sponsors now. We got an exceptional producer in Sean Stanley, and who's working full time, by the way. So not only did I go out to create a show that now it also gives employment to somebody else, not just myself, but then we're also employing how many insiders now? I don't know how many it is. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and we're adding 3 more, 13. So there are 15 people making money off this program. What do you think, Juan? What do you think? Use your common sense. Not a matter of who's better or who's not. No matter, do you think maybe that we actually can do radio? You think anybody can do this? It's not a matter of better, my brother, but are you going to be honest? What QAM did was a mistake. So you can look at it however you want and look at it as an insult. I look at it as freedom. That's why I was smiling and I was really happy when I got fired, But hey, man, think whatever you want, my brother. It doesn't change my life whatsoever. It doesn't affect me either. What's up, Sean?
No, I wanted to say also, this producer's making a little bit more than the producers are over at 560
Yeah.
BQ.
Yes. No, that's guaranteed. Guaranteed this producer makes more than all the producers at 560 and 790. Yep. Guaranteed. So Juan, my brother, if you think that any of this affects me, you have not watched what I've done for the last 2 years trying to overcome a lot of incompetence that I've been associated with. That's the problem, Juan. You've got such a pull up your ass to hate me. You actually don't understand what's going on. Instead, you should actually appreciate what we're doing, because what we're doing, local corporations, well, they're not local, but corporations that own the businesses that are supposed to be doing this aren't willing to do it. So it's not a matter of me thinking that I'm better. It's a matter of me being passionate enough to want to do something that fans want, including you, and that's why you're on the chat board. But you keep thinking that me getting fired is some kind of a negative. You go ahead. You go ahead, my brother. Dominic says, I'm not going to lie. I can't listen to 560 or 790 anymore. Emilio says, siempre hay uno, Big O. No hay duda. Haters going to hate. Give them success and let them eat. I mean, the guy should be grateful for our show. Every South Florida fan in the world should be grateful for our show. We're doing something that nobody does. Nobody's willing to do it for you guys. No one. But that's fine, bro. So Juan Paulo, knock yourselves out, my brother. Have some fun. I got fired. I'm so sad. I'm so broken up. I like Joe. There you go. You should like Joe Rose. Joe does a hell of a job. I don't know how much long he's got left. I don't know when that contract expires. But I know he's probably counting the days down. And he's been amazing in this town for a long, long time. What else can we tell you? Let's see. What else do we have here on the program? Let me see. Oh, you know what? I haven't checked the Welt and Rayom text line. I got to check the Welt and Rayom text line, 855-912-1056. That's 855-912-1056. Let's check out the Welt and Rayom text line and see what's the latest there, because I would be rude. You're so rude. As what's her name from Full House? Omar suddenly changes tune on Tua big time. I think he's reading the tea leaves and wants to get back on the Tua train before it takes off without him. One guy just wrote on Twitter. I'm glad he brought that up, because that was something I want to talk about. I did not make the notes on my show sheet here, but I have in my mind already what I wanted to talk about. And what this gentleman just put, or lady, I'm not exactly sure who wrote this and said that right now, but have you noticed this? Okay? Have you noticed this from some of the Tua haters? They have now gotten a little taste of Mike McDaniel. They themselves are starting to get convinced that all of a sudden the running game is going to start working, and that he's going to coach them up with his staff, and they'll get the running game going, and they'll get the offensive line fixed. And I'm starting to feel like a little bit of a turn with some, not just Omar. Omar had a little shade of it, but other Tua haters are kind of talking about, well, it looks like McDaniel will fix the offense and this and that, and it will help Tua. And so all of a sudden, these so-called Tua haters or disbelievers or whatever, negators, whatever you want to call them, they are kind of they're not on the bandwagon, but you know what they're doing? They're easing their way. They're like moving over a little bit. They're scooting over just a little bit closer to get on the bandwagon, because they're trying to get into the gray area. Well, no, hey, listen, when I saw McDaniel, I thought, hey, with the offense going, then maybe the kid has a chance. No, dude, you're a hater. You didn't like him. You didn't think he was a player. Okay? So some of you disbelievers out there, don't start believing now. Don't start getting in the bandwagon now. There's no room for you. Okay? We're not making any room for you disbelievers, for you haters. None. You've been pushed off. Omar, everybody else, you can't get on. You don't get on when the going gets good. You don't get on the coin when it's going parabolic. Don't do it. So when Tua goes parabolic, you're not allowed to take the ride with us. Just want you to know that. I see it. I'm feeling it already. Some of you trying to climb into the gray area. Not allowed. Big O, what's your thoughts on his linebackers coach with the Steelers? Should do a good job. It's a good defensive coach. Still won't get along with people. And one more thing. I hope Mike Tomlin has a Kevlar jacket for his back. Big O, you think Tua can take a step and become a top 10 QB? We face Josh Allen every year. I just want him to get to that level. I think he can be a hell of a QB if you get the running game and the offensive line going. Yes. I think he'll be a franchise QB, and he can take you as far as you want to go. Win a title. Okay? Get the freaking offensive line fixed and the running game, and get a smart person on the sidelines designing plays, and Tua will be just fine. Tua McDaniels will be Dua of the future. I see what you're doing there. I got you. Frank from Rochester says, love the show. Keep up the great work. I believe Josh Boyer is on a one-year trial basis for Mike McDaniel. What do you think? Yes. And with a guy like Fangio going to take a year off so you can get that head coach money and kind of take a year off. Fangio was on that list for last year. I think they're going to go for Fangio again if Boyer doesn't get it done. You are correct, sir, because this was a problem he didn't have to worry about right now. So now he gets to assess it, and then throughout the year he'll figure out, I like that guy, that guy, don't like that guy. You're out. And yes, and it could be Boyer, it could be anybody on the defense. I agree with you, no doubt. And by the way, that goes for Crossman too on special teams. Big O, what do you think about James Daniels from Chicago? Came in for white hair and played well. I don't know enough to say whether that would be a good pick or not to make a move for it, to be honest with you. I'd have to look into it a little bit more. What time is Coach McDaniel's news conference? Oh, okay. Well, no, I think that was a little old. Let's see, what else do we have here? Wait, we can't take a wait and see alert instead of saying Tua would be elite under McDaniel. If Tua falls or succeeds, we still won't know because we'll still be debating if it's due to coaching or if it's Tua. Let's just see. No, I disagree with you on that, sir. I think Tua, this is his shot here to prove. If you're look, I told you this. If they're fixing the line in the running game, if they are running the ball and they're protecting the quarterback, then Tua has to get the job done now. Then I can't defend them either. Okay? So that's the problem. Let's see. What else do we have here? A super chat. Frankie Fresco says Masvidal or Kobe, Big O. Kobe saying he's from Hialeah. Yeah. Is Covington really? Is that true? Covington's from Hialeah?
I think he trained with Masvidal down here. They lived together, they trained together, so he kind of is saying, I believe he adopted Hialeah as his home.
Okay, but you can't. No, where's he from? Let me see something. I just, where was the guy born? Where is he from? That's really where Clovis, California is where he was born. Okay, I don't know. I'm going Masvidal. I listen. I'm not saying that Kobe can't win, but I'm going to go Masvidal.
Interesting, because Covington's the better all-around MMA fighter.
Yeah,
but Masvidal will go 10,000 miles a minute. He won't give up. Right. You're gonna have to knock him out. That's why he got the BMF title.
Right, and that's why I think that he's going to come out like a freaking maniac, like he did with that one time where he came out with that high ass kick and knocked the guy out right away. Yeah. Not that he's going to do that to Kobe, because Kobe is obviously one hell of a fighter. But I gotta admit, I'm going to be rooting for Masvidal.
Oh no, I'm rooting for Masvidal, but man, I just think, again, it depends if Covington comes out and all this is hype, or if all this is like, because if he rushes at Masvidal is going to go at him, and it could be over quickly. Just like, who was the guy? The one that fought the Paul guy? What was his name?
Yeah.
Masvidal was his downfall. When Masvidal did what he did to him, that's why he had to go and box, because it ended his Askren, Ben Askren. That's who it was.
Ben Askren. That's it.
So it's gonna be interesting.
I'm looking forward to that fight tomorrow, dude. It's gonna be awesome. Those two have serious hate for each other, so that's a beautiful thing to watch. All right, we're out of here. We will see you tomorrow, actually. Normally, we're off on Saturdays, but we're going to do a special show out at Caneswear because we actually work. I know the one guy that probably doesn't want me working or doing anything. He hates me, and is happy that I get fired and probably wants this to fail too. He won't be happy, but whatever his name is now, I already forgot it. But we'll be tomorrow at Caneswear. So come on out, 2511 South University Drive in Davie. We'll be on at 11 from 11 to 1. We will have Ira Winderman at 11:30 and Joe Shad at 12:30. We will try to pull Tyler Van Dyke over and get him for 5 minutes on the program to talk a little Canes, have some fun. There's all you can do is have fun with Tyler Van Dyke, dude. It's awesome. It's going to be great, So appreciate all of you out there. Emilio says you're way better off in this platform that you'll be working for instead of working for corporate. Do your thing, brother. Love the show. Thank you. That's been the overall response from everybody. But you always the haters think like I'm not going to read it, like I'm afraid or something. It's always good to read it too. You gotta have your haters, right? That's all. It's all right to hate as long as he's not an asshole about it. You know what I mean? He just wants me fired. That's all. He just wants me to fail in life. Nothing wrong with that. The Greater Good says Jimi Hendrix lived part-time with his aunt in Hialeah. Did he really, by the way? You're just screwing around, right? Oh, man. All right. Sean Stanley masters this program and does an excellent job every single day. That's why he earns more money than any producer at 790 and 560. We thank him. We also thank Manny Navarro, Omar Kelly, and Cameron Wolf. All right. We thank them, as always, being on the show. We thank all of you out there for downloading it. Don't forget to smash the like button. Please, every time you're listening or watching, it is very important that you smash that like button. Visit our incredible sponsors. And we thank you. We will see you tomorrow, 11 a.m., same time, same place, same bat channel. Have a great one.
Blind ass fan alert. Look out, everyone. We've got a blind ass fan coming through.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami